Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What is up, Panther fans? Did they win? Did they lose? Did they win and lose? Did they lose and win? Were we watching Joey play basketball? It was the most bizarre Panthers game. Not the most, but one of the oddest games I can remember in Panther history, or at least in the history of this podcast. This is the final post-game show of the Carolina Panthers 2022-2023 season. And it has been a wild ride, but a great one, because I'm here every week with my wheelman, Cody Lashney.
Hey, how about we swept the Saints, baby? Read that. Who said they're going to beat them Saints? That's right. The first time we have swept the New Orleans Saints since 2015. Eddie Pinheiro getting some redemption. Dude, look, man, this is it. It's a bittersweet post-game show because on one hand, God, this tough season is finally over. We can close the books. We can look ahead of us. But it's also the final post-game show, man. No more Panthers. Man, dude, I'm just, I'm all in my emotions. Okay, I'm emotional today, people. You have to work with me while I sort through my emotions. But you know what? I'm going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know them and love them. Our guys, Drew, Alex Mex Pro, Brad Holt, Dan Floyd, Double JR, Jerome talking shit, Ken Folk NC, Lawrence Trevette, Michael, Off Grid, Panther Growl, Riz B, Rockhead 81, SC Based, the Cardiac Cat 13, the Mogul, and Stats once again coming through with 20 gifted super fans.
What a great contribution.
That is the man. Man, Stats, we love you. Big ups. We appreciate each and all of you for being here for our final post-game therapy session of the season. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
I cannot honestly think of a more metaphorically symbolic, if that's redundant, I'm sure it is, gift that you could give a show completely based on fan community is a gift of a loyalty badge to the C3 Panthers podcast. C3 super fan, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just means everything to me. It just is very emblematic of what I want this show to be, which is fans riding to and fro the game together and talking about it every day and every week of the year in between about what this team does for us and to us. Should we send a broom to Sean Payton, CK, and say, sweep your ass on over here and coach this team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we should. We should absolutely
ride it on over like you're a witch ass.
No,
I thought you were a witch.
The only one I care about doing that to is Cam Jordan. Right. Get that over to Cam Jordan, and hopefully his time as a dominant pass rusher in this league is coming to an end. But I'll tell you this: this was the most. We're going to have a lot of conversations. One is going to be probably very much surrounded by Sam Darnold. Another one about Steve Wilkes and whether this game helped, hurt, or didn't do anything for him moving forward. But God, this was a painful game to watch. Like, it was not. I know we got the win, and I'm happy we got the win. But we got the win with a lot of help. A couple of missed kicks from Will Lutz. Our defense coming and showing up in big moments.
Well, a 60-yarder.
55. And
was
he missed
55?
one. And he missed one earlier that was a lot closer in the first half as well.
Right, that was an ugly one.
Yeah. So I listen, and then we got a touchdown because of Michael Jordan recovering a fumble, and
it was
just
terrible. Think about that. Is
so
one of the
bad.
best plays of the game was by one of the worst players.
I know,
Mhm.
dude. Isn't that so symbolic
I
of
told
our
you it's a
season?
bizarre fucking game, bro. This was the bizarrest of games.
It was.
Yeah.
It was so weird, and I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready to break down what we saw today, and I'm ready to give out some season balls.
Oh, that ought to be great.
And if Manscaped would have just sponsored us for another month, we would have had a great ad read there.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Go and message them and say, "You want
season
them?
balls?
Come on, we ain't reading that for free no more. We ain't reading that. I ain't writing nobody's balls for free. How
Right.
about that?
Even if
I
it's
tell you this, if you want to read body language, there's a this was a complicated game too for the Carolina Panthers. I tell you this, Greg, as I went to the sports bar to watch this game today. Generally, I try to watch meaningful Panther games at home by myself as I prepare for the show. It's too distracting of being around my friends, being around so many TVs. It's like ADHD of football experience. Much like when you go to the game, sometimes it's harder to retain the details. You retain the emotion. As this game, first, there were two stats I want to give you, Greg, and then I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Is one, it was 3:30 in the afternoon, and there was 1 minute and 36 seconds left in this game. How did this game go by? It felt like the longest game in the history of the world, but also the fastest game. There was one other time we did this in the season, but the Panthers ran the ball 45 times that game. So you would think your clock's running. How did this game go by so fast with nobody doing anything? And then the second thing was I'm walking out. I'm about when Sam Darnold throws that pick. I'm like, man, I don't know. I just felt like this was a loss, and we were tied. I was like, I was like, man, the game's over. I'm like, do you guys want to start the post game early? And it was tied. And then I thought after I sent you guys that message, there could actually be an overtime to this bizarre ass game. That's what we needed, Greg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a crazy ass game, man. I know I was looking at the first quarter and I couldn't believe how long the first quarter felt. And then everything after that just flew by so quickly. Like you said, I looked up and it was not even close to 4 o'clock and the game was already almost over. But think about this. We had a game where we held a team scoreless on every drive except for their first drive, where we won the game with a missed field goal by them, then a long pass and a game-winning field goal, and at no point in time was I excited today. That's crazy. No, at no point in time was I excited about it. It's
and
so
I
weird.
tell you, is somebody else that wasn't excited about it was Steve Wilkes. As we looked at him,
but look, I will say this though. Look, maybe the game from a technical level wasn't the best football. Yeah, that's easy. But I also went into this.
Winning this game,
I also went into this game knowing that come September of next year, we're gonna be craving Panther football. Damn it!
Oh, of course.
So
okay. Thank God he didn't go where I thought he was.
Dude, I went into this game with two things. Well, I went into it with the mindset thinking, win, lose, or draw, this is good for us. If we win, we get to beat the Saints and fuck the Saints on every day that ends with a Y.
I guess it's a reasonable point.
Number two, even if we lost, it would have meant a better draft pick. So look, I'm happy. I enjoyed watching the game. There was a lot of ups and downs, but hey, man, you got to savor Panther football while we have it, and especially with so many unknowns going forward for the Carolina Panthers at the head coach position, at the quarterback position. Man, so much is getting ready to happen. You just got to savor the flavor while you have the opportunity, Tony.
You're listening to the C3 Panthers post-game show. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Call in, leave us a message. We'll play it, and we want to hear your thoughts. Was this a win? Was it a loss? Was it a win and a loss? Was it a loss and a win? I mean, really, when you start to think about that, your mind may explode in some crazy ways. I guess I don't know where even to start.
Well,
where to start? Actually, here I'll tell you this. You'll like this. Okay.
No, I want to start where you want to start. I just want to give a real quick shout out to Panther Gal 73.
Oh wow!
With the $5 love bomb. You know we love you. She says for entering with a better record, or for ending with a better record for the last few years. Panther Gal, 1000%.
Agreed.
And
He said it's a
CK,
win.
Yeah.
Okay.
And CK, your services are needed
Oh,
because we got a brand new member, baby.
well. Complex integral.
There you go.
Became a YouTube member. He said, I want to join the C3 Superfan Club. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to support these guys who show up week in, week out, win or lose, off season or not. They're going to be here talking about the Carolina Panthers. And I want to say, I appreciate your support, Complex. Welcome to the C3 Superfan Club.
Hey, keep pounding. Floor is yours, Tony.
As I posed the question, was this a win, a loss, a win, and a loss, and a loss, and a win? Again, try to break that down. I, like I said, was leaving the sports bar to come back here. Generally, I can leave by 3:45, be here. We'll be ready, starting the show, no rush. This game went by a little quicker. I need to leave a little earlier, so I'm walking out, and my wife and my daughter were playing one game of pool before they left. And my wife goes, "Why are you leaving?" And there's 2 seconds left on the clock. The game's tied. And I'm going to ask you this because I said I told her this is because I don't really care. I'll hear the field goal in the car when I turn on the radio. Like I'll know the outcome. The other thing is like I'm undecided ultimately in how I feel like I wanted the outcome in this game. And I was like, because this kind of, I didn't use the words bittersweet. That would have been too poetic for me. I was just like, this kind of sucks because like either way, like I was like, I'm out of here. And she goes, this, but it's about the mentality.
Yeah.
She pulled out this. She don't even pay attention to us, man. She don't pay attention to us. She don't pay attention to, she likes Georgia football. She likes the Carolina Hurricanes. Like she die hard about them things. She don't care about it. I mean, she don't dislike. She roots for the Carolina Panthers. She don't root for another team. And she pulled the culture bomb on me.
Yeah.
How do you guys, this is how we start the show. How was this a win, a loss, a win-loss, or a loss-win?
Easy for you to say.
No, it's hard to say. It's hard to even think about.
I'll say this, man. The Panthers have so many needs right now. And we've kind of broke this down a little bit. I feel like every year we say that we're just a few pieces away from being a legitimate contender. And then the whole season plays out. And we're like, nah, you know what? We could actually use another receiver. We could use another corner. We could definitely use another defensive tackle. We can definitely use another edge. I mean, there are positions on this team that can be upgraded. And, now that after the McCaffrey trade, which seems like a million years ago now, we have the picks to be able to build up the rest of our football team. So at the end of the day, fuck the Saints, man. Dude, okay. The Saints and the Falcons are one of our, that's our biggest rivals right there. And of course, we all remember them coming into our locker room, sweeping it up, act like assholes to us. So look, we're allowed to just enjoy division football for the last time of the year. I believe we're going to be picking number 9 in the draft. I don't know if it's going to end up staying that way or not. But we've got a lot of time to talk about the draft. I know it wasn't the most fun game to watch, but there were times when I was really proud of this Panthers team who was without Brian Burns, without J.C. Horn, without Dante Jackson. We were missing a lot of big time players. And fast thing, Josh Norman, God love him. He needs to head back to the coffee shop, bro.
Why?
Josh Norman.
He got burned a few times.
Was it in the first quarter? Was it in the first 4 minutes of the game? Because I missed the first touchdown.
The first
drive was terrible. Yeah.
He almost caught that deep pass, though. He almost caught that deep interception.
But it was a good thing that he didn't, by the way.
Right.
It was a good thing that he didn't because they missed that field goal and we had much better field position.
Let me rephrase the question for you, CK. Who was this a win for today? Not was this a win or a loss? Who was this a win? You don't got to pick one person. Go down a list of it.
Steve
and
Wilkes.
we can. Okay.
It was a
Wow.
win for Steve Wilkes. I mean, and not that it was like, and I was saying at the beginning of before we even started the show, and this game didn't help Steve Wilkes. It didn't hurt Steve Wilkes. We're back. We're almost in the exact same position I felt like we were yet last week when we lost to the Bucs. Right? That game didn't hurt him. It didn't help him. It just let him continue to be a part of the conversation. This game is going to do the same thing. It wasn't a dominant win. It sure did not. There was a lot of things that had to go our way, which doesn't normally happen for Panthers, but it did happen to go our way this go around. And Steve Wilkes came out on top. There was some things moving in our, that definitely helped him. But it was a win for him because his record has beaten in just a half of a season anything Matt Rule did by getting 6 wins in a shorter season. Yeah. And they're improbable wins that he got in some of these in some cases. And when you look at the people that he lost to outside of the Rams, they're pretty much all Super Bowl, or at least playoff contenders, right? Outside of the Falcons, which I don't even consider that a loss because of the manner in which that took place. But you had the Bengals, you had the Steelers, who now are, I think they're going, right? Didn't they win today? And the Patriots didn't?
I believe so. I think
so.
Oh, I need to check all my stupid prize.
The Steelers are going to the playoffs now because of that. The Bengals are going to the playoffs. The Ravens are going to the playoffs. These are the teams that he's lost to. The Bucs are obviously going to the playoffs, for lack of a better way of putting that. And who else did he lose to?
Who? Wilkes?
Steelers,
he lost to the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Rams.
And the Rams was an early one. So that's
the first one. They didn't even pass the ball, but that was with PJ, and they wouldn't even let him pass.
Right. So like I said, he didn't. In many of those games, many of them, I will say a lot of those were blown out, like the 49ers. I mean, not the Rams game, the Bengals game, and the Ravens game didn't feel like it was very close, but I think the scoreboard looked like it was closer than it was. Right. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this was needed. He needed 6 wins, and that's going to be something that he's going to be able to take into the offseason to something to move him in the right direction.
Hey, let's just jump into this. We're getting to this eventually. Let's just do it. Did Steve Wilkes do enough in this season and even today to warrant himself legit to be considered the head coach of the Carolina Panthers? Does he have a shot? Does he actually have a shot? Or is this just something that diehard Panther fans and probably a bunch of Panther players want?
Can we say yes to all those?
Yes.
If you want to. I mean, it's up to you.
It has to. I think you have to consider. He has to be a real candidate. I don't know that it means that he's a surefire guy, right? But I think that he has to be a part of the conversation, and he has to be a final candidate when it comes down to narrowing down the list of people that you want to hire. I
think the answer is yes to all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't
like he did enough. Think about this. He did enough to be a legitimate candidate for the position. He did enough for me to start the season. If you told me today, if you told me 3 weeks ago that Steve Wilkes will be the head coach of the Carolina Panthers tomorrow, like next year, I would not be upset. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say, like, yeah, I mean, like everything he has done, like he's a captain of the ship, bro. Like I will sail on that ship. Now, is that ship going to go down in the history books of the world? I don't know. But at the same time, so yeah, I think he did enough. He should be considered enough, but I don't think it's guaranteed or surefire or anywhere close. And I could see a real possibility. I still think it's going to be Harbaugh. I got reasons to tell you why.
Well, but there was a report today by Jonathan Jones that apparently they've moved on in a different direction. I don't believe none of that shit.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro.
Like
That's just all.
In the past week, we have heard like 5 different things from different sources saying different shit. Like, there's no way that any of us can get a grasp on what this organization is actually wanting to do. Then, Tony, you did an interview with the guy whose name slips my mind right now.
Mark Ryan,
who said that we wanted DeMeco Ryans. Well, all of the reports that we had heard up until this point was that they wanted an offensive coach to be the coach of the Carolina Panthers. That's certainly not D'Amico Ryans. Then we hear today, news broke that Jim Caldwell is going to get an interview along with Frank Reich, former coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And
bro, this is all Greg's conspiracy hat. Bring it out. I can see through all of this. I can see through all of it. It's fake.
It feels fake.
It's fake.
Me and CK were talking about it before the show started, and like he was asking me how I felt about Steve Wilkes, and I've been on the Steve Wilkes train since the beginning. I like this guy, and I'm with you, Tony. Like, if he told me he's gonna be the coach next year, I'm cool with that. I'm okay. Let's go. Let's move forward with Steve Wilkes. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I just don't think, with all the talks and everything, I think that if they were serious about Steve Wilkes being the head coach next year, it would be that they would say something about it. There wouldn't be all this talk.
They can't. See, all of this talk is just cover your ass. CYA, as they call it.
You can go out there as the owner and say you like Steve Wilkes as your head coach, that you enjoy, you like what you're seeing, stuff like that. You don't have to say that he's the guy for next year, this and that, but you. But
why would you
like him? That's what I'm saying. Why would you if you're not planning on bringing him back?
You shouldn't do it even if you were. You shouldn't tell your wife you're going to propose in 6 weeks. Or your fiance, like, or whoever she is, she ain't your wife now. You shouldn't say, "Hey, I'm gonna propose to you in 6 weeks." Just keep your cards close to the vest. All of this news leaking, folks. This news, and we got to talk about this game. I guess maybe we don't. All of this news leaking is all smoke and all directed, like Greg says, put the tinfoil hat on. The NFL. Let me tell you exactly what happened today. Did you see Steve Wilkes' body language today?
Yeah, he looked kind of dejected.
And you know what? I'm not going to blame him for anything. I've told you guys I can read him. Not I can read him, but I've been trying to read his emotions on the sidelines and how meaningful this opportunity. He understood, not meaningful, like, thank you, you gave me the opportunity. How grateful. I'm not trying to say that. He understood the gravity of this opportunity, like the seriousness. And I told you guys over and over that the entire interview for Steve Wilkes was only in the season, right? And now the Harbaugh news comes out, right? This news coming along, and then you hear the NCAA and violations potentially. You hear about contacting him. We look at his face on the sidelines, and to me, I would feel the same way. Yeah. It's like, I don't even want to fucking be here. You don't want, like, why do you even want me here? Right? Now, this is why this story for Jonathan Jones came out. Now, I can't verify this, but it's why I believe it. I think the NFL called David Tepper and said, bro, Steve Wilkes is involved in this lawsuit with Flores about discrimination in the NFL. This guy has done a very good job as an interim coach. And before he's even coached his final game, reports of phone calls to Harbaugh are already leaking and all of that. What I think they said is this: y'all need to cool the rumors down, because we're going to have these interviews. Yeah. And we got to make this look legit. Why do you think Jim Caldwell's name was on that list today? Tell me that. And look, actually, I would like Jim Caldwell. Like, he's a fucking good. He's very good. It's just boring. It's just boring. He's been very. He took the fucking Lions to the fucking playoffs, dude.
Yeah, but Steve Wilkes damn near took the Panthers.
No, they were like 10-6, bro. Like, Caldwell had a good. Caldwell is just quiet. It's just, what I'm telling you is this: is the Harbaugh situation, I believe in my heart of hearts, is still very real for Carolina.
Yeah, I do too. And partly just because of what you just said, Tony. How can you put 100% of your faith and trust behind any of this shit that you're reading right now? Right. Dude, and it's like, it's what you said too. You have to know that every NFL team, they have connections to people in media. And if they want a story to be known broadly, they'll call them up and leak information to them. getting them looking in a different direction while you do what you actually want to do. That's common practices. Yeah,
I don't
I
think
mean,
this was by the Panthers, though, man. I think this was orchestrated by the NFL. The lawsuit is against the NFL, not the
Right.
Carolina Panthers.
right.
I think they called David Tepper and said, yo, let's cool these rumors out. We need to throw some cold
Well,
water on this shit.
Did you also hear the rumor that Jim Harbaugh was the one to initiate the conversations? Again, just if you're believing rumors, Harbaugh called up the Panthers to get interest from David Tepper, but then apparently, like, David Tepper wasn't willing to give Harbaugh everything that he was at. Dude, it's all bullshit.
They
man.
can't say that. Look,
I know.
if that
I
is,
know.
if the conversation was ended because of that, it would be an illegitimate hire.
Right.
That, you know, like the conversation could not go into those sort of details. And if that came out that it was, then the Panthers should be docked a first round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally, because that is breaking the rules. That's entirely breaking the rules. If you are having a guarantee, a shake a hand, a handshake agreement without doing the process, then the process is fraudulent. We already think the whole thing is fraudulent, and the whole fucking lawsuit is that it's fraudulent. The NFL called David Tepper and said, y'all, you guys gotta shut this stuff down a little.
Yeah.
My hat's not looking so bad now, is it?
No, I'm putting it on,
Greg,
bro.
Greg, before next season, we are getting you a conspiracy hat. It has to happen. It absolutely has
Actually,
to
you know
happen.
what? We got to make an emoji. That's the first thing
Yes,
we
we
got to do.
need an emoji, and
Let's make
Greg
an emoji.
and Greg needs a hat. Hey, but you know what we gotta do? We gotta shout out God of Blackness for the $10. He says sensational hires. I want better for this organization. God of Blackness, I agree with you, man. Like, if we're just talking about those two names, Frank Reich is a different situation because it's like Frank Reich never had the quarterback to get the job done in Indianapolis, you know? And I mean, I guess you can say maybe
Don't let Cody get away. Stop with this Caldwell slander, bro.
Dude, how about this? Wilkes better than Caldwell. Fight me. Fight me. He's
I
better
will
for the
fight
Panthers
you. Actually,
than Caldwell.
no, you like Wilkes, but Caldwell has been a far more successful.
Yeah, but
He was
like,
given an
entity, man.
opportunity, though.
What-
Like, that's the
what
thing.
is-
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean, all right. Well, I'll be fair with that. I'm not ready to like bet the rest of my life on it, but you can't say that. That is a insurmountable argument. Then, if you always have an out that he didn't have the opportunities, Caldwell has been very good.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying he's a
won
bad
games.
coach.
Put it that way. He's won games.
I'm not saying that he's a bad coach and that he hasn't won. What I'm saying is that if you're going to hire Caldwell, what is Caldwell going to do for the Panthers that Steve Wilkes couldn't or wouldn't do?
I feel the same about D'Amico Ryans, honestly.
Yeah, it's like you're splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah.
So, look, going back to my original question, did Steve Wilkes do enough? As much as this is a hard answer, I don't think he did. And I think that we were right about it after the Tampa Bay game. If Steve Wilkes was going to be legit in consideration for the head coaching job, we had to do what the Jaguars did. We had to sneak into the playoffs. And yeah, listen, I understand, and it's a very fair argument to say that this roster was so bad at one point, right? Going through different quarterbacks, had injuries in the defensive backfield. You know, you trade away.
How did we
Christian
ever think
McCaffrey.
we were going to be good?
Right, and that's part of the argument in favor of Steve Wilkes is that he was able to make chicken salad out of chicken shit,
Yeah.
and he did it in a short amount of time, and got 2 more victories as a head coach than Matt Rule did.
I agree.
In like 2.25 years. So
He did
you
enough.
cannot-
He's just not going
Right.
to get it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He did enough, but he did enough in the minds of a lot of Panther fans, even a lot of people in the media who cover the Panthers believe that Steve Wilkes should have a chance. And look at what Underground says. Wilkes made us believe again. He did, damn it. And no one
Yes,
can take that away from Steve Wilkes. And my time doing this podcast here on the C3 Panthers podcast, I have never been a part of a month of December where the Panthers were actually competing for something.
Right.
That's insane.
Okay?
Really?
I
And you've been
know.
on this podcast for a long time.
Forever, dude. I'm growing gray hairs in my beard over here and shit, dude. And yet somehow we still managed to be a contending team. Now, even though the NFC South was bad, you have to give Wilkes that credit, and I completely understand why a lot of people do want him to be the head coach. And I would be thrilled if Steve Wilkes got another chance, and I would be believing in him just much next season as I was this season. I just don't feel like David Tepper is going to go for an interim head coach again. I forgot who put it in the chat, but someone put it in there that like interim head coaches are like 111 to 219 all time or something. It's not good numbers. So I just don't see David Tepper just sitting back and saying, "Hey, we're gonna give Steve Wilkes another chance." I think he's gonna swing big on a Harbaugh. One of these coaches that are out there, Frank Reich, I could even see being a legit possibility. I don't know, man. We got a long time to be talking about coach and quarterback.
Please no Frank Reich. Please no Frank Reich. Of all the
I
names on
don't
that list,
mind
just don't
Frank
want
Wright. Is again, I would see that as a lateral move from Steve Wilkes. While it's an offensive coach who has had some success in the league, I think that what Wilkes did this year is arguably his success in that 12-game stretch, if you extrapolated it out, would be comparable to guys like this. You know what I'm saying? Is so like while like I would not I actually think Frank Wright would be an offensive a great. What if we brought Steve Wilkes in and then he brought Frank Wright in as his OC?
I'd be fine with
now
that.
we'd be talking. That's
Okay.
actually the combo I'd be kind of interested in. But again, I think a move from Wilkes to Reich to even, I mean, and I would say Caldwell would still kind of be lateral, right? Like I could argue that Caldwell has a better resume. I think there's only one single name out there that has the hotness or maybe two: Sean Payton, and Jim Harbaugh. Those are the ones that have the sexiness to them that can overcome the lateral move. So if we're gonna go laterally, I just stay with Steve Wilkes.
Yeah.
And if you want to woo me with the girl that is the supermodel kind of, but could be terrible in bed, I don't know. I mean, like those are the only two names. I mean, other are just lateral. The number's 252-228-5098. CK, you got anything to say? Not anything. You've got plenty to say. What do you have to say about this?
I mean, I think Steve Wilkes deserves to have an opportunity. I think when you look at what our offense was able to do over the past 6 weeks with Sam Darnold at the helm, we were at the top of the list in many of those categories as far as offensive efficiency and whatnot. It's hard to not even bring up Ben McAdoo into the equation. And the only reason I am even saying that, I'm not saying that he's been a game changer, but I tell you what, this offense has looked better than it had over the past 6 or 7 weeks than it has in the past 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. And so I'm happy that that's the case, and I'm happy that our offense is up to date. But I also want to know, do we want to bring another offensive coordinator and have a brand new regime and have all these guys having to learn new shit? I just need some consistency, and I think that we could get it with Steve Wilkes as the head coach. So I do like that. Jim Harbaugh is just one of those things. It's just really hard to pass that name up.
I agree. As we continue to move through the show and just look, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about the coaching situation and all of that. I did think that Ben McAdoo had one of the best quotes I've heard all year, this past week. And he said he learned that he was built for a storm, not a calm sea, or something. And I'm paraphrasing at this point, but he said it was like, I was like, gosh, that's actually like you are.
Dude, that's a takeoff of one of my favorite sayings of all time. Calm waters never made for skilled sailors.
Wow. Yeah, wow. So, oof. What this game right here with the Cowboys and the Redskins bizarre.
That's what I was just crazy about when I was like,
McLaurin just dropped a pass that would have made Sam Howell continue to look very good, and I was about to get upset. And now, how did that even happen, folks? Look, I guess somewhere there's meaningful football. It turns out that Ron Rivera doesn't know it exists. Did you hear about that last week?
He didn't even know that if he lost, that it was like
eliminating him from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Man,
I still think he should have been. He should still be our head coach. We should never.
Well, you don't. That's not a good time to say that, Greg. After he didn't even know what was going on.
I'm not worried about it.
He's on the hot seat out there.
He's a winner.
Oh God,
he's a winner. I don't know why, man. He's a winner, dude.
All right, we're not going down this round.
He barely won that division, or I guess he got into a wild card spot.
They're 7-8-1 right now.
He had 3 winning seasons in 7 years or something like that. It was time. No, and listen, I've said this before. 2 things can be true. Mm-hmm. It was time to fire Ron Rivera, but Matt Rule was not the guy to replace him with. That's just because things went bad after Ron doesn't mean that Ron was the guy that we should have stuck with. But hey, man, it's like, and yeah, I agree with CK. He's probably on the hot seat. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, but I wonder if we're going to talk about this game at all. Like, we barely talked about the Panthers and the Saints. Do you guys have any take? Oh, how about this? Let me give a takeaway that I had from today's game. Chuba. Dude, Chuba Hubbard this season continues to blossom as a running back right before our very eyes, dude. And I'm tired of the slander. Put some respect on Chuba Hubbard's name, man. This guy does not go down at first contact.
Bro.
This dude is good vision. It's getting even better. Dude, Chuba Hubbard has been balling the fuck out. And you're a hater with that damn soundboard, Tony Dunn. You're a hater. Put some respect on Chuba Hubbard's name, damn it.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
God, dude.
Chuba had a
what
game,
in the world did you see today that made you be able to come
he was making everyone bounce off of him.
He
was
did have a few good runs today. He had a good day.
He was pushing people off.
He ran forward. He ran forward. Yay. He ran forward.
Oh, my God. You're such a hater.
The Panthers scored 10 points today, dude.
It doesn't matter.
That's the
This
bottom
dude
line.
won't fucking ripping off no blood. He's a straight line runner, by the way. That's it. He is a straight line runner. That's it. He's not he's not good at anything. He's not great at
straight line runner.
No. I think he actually has a second move to him.
Bro, y'all weird with this Chuba hate, yo.
Nah, Chuba is a bomb, bro.
I don't hate Chuba. Chuba's just not my guy. Hubbard's a better runner than Chuba. Than
Foreman's a better runner.
Foreman's a better runner than the Chuba is, man. Like it's.
Chuba is the most average NFL player I've ever seen in my life.
Getting better and better. And how about this? If Deontay Foreman went down, like just from the running back perspective, there's no reason why any of our stats should go off a cliff. Now, when your 2 guards go down, sure. The same thing that you've been asking Deontay Foreman to do is the same thing Chuba would do. And, dude, he has been balling the fuck out this year. Against Detroit, he had over 100 yards. His after contact balance in this game, I thought was really good. Dude, like, you're putting too much on it. I'm not calling him
this mug over here. Guess what? Guess who we ain't talking about today, guys?
Put some respect on his name, damn it.
You know who ain't talking about? He ain't over here going, oh, Shy Smith was awesome today, was he?
Oh, God.
Chuba Hubbard.
See, this is the thing is, like, his look is that he did not do anything he didn't do anything good or bad today.
He
was well-made. Whelming. He ran forward.
You're a hater.
I want Cameron Artist Payne back.
Cody, what were his stats for today?
I don't know. You tell me. Hey, by the way, before you tell me those stats, before you tell me those stats,
this guy had 62 yards.
With Michael Jordan with Michael Jordan.
Oh God, it's
and
always a
Kate
fucking
Bates
with and a
as the
caveat and a
guards in
bullshit.
front of him. Okay, so
Yeah,
put
let's
that
sign
out
him to
there.
a 2-year, $15 million deal. Let's hear these stats, Greg.
21 attempts, 69 yards, 3.3.
Oh, I
average,
said
zero
62.
touchdowns. You were close. Yeah, 0
69.
touchdowns. That's an okay game. He had a
It's
few
you're
runs.
fine.
He had
It's
a few runs
fine.
that were nice
No
runs
one
where
is
he
saying
was
that he
trucking
took
them,
over
you know?
the game. I'm saying everyone wanted
You-
to cut his ass earlier this year and last year. And I'm
Hey.
saying, no, you don't give up on young players. And he is going to be a consistent
Crazy.
contributor
So
for us
Can I tell you something
crazy.
funny?
down the road.
We
He
need
had-
Jordan
he had-
Scarlett back. We cut all better players
God.
than Chuba Hubbard after
And by the
1
way,
year.
this is coming from a guy that loved Cameron Artist Payne.
Who
like
was
it was the
fucking way
fucking-
better than
No,
Chuba Hubbard.
he fucking wasn't.
You are out of
dude.
your
Give me a
mind, bro.
break.
Out
Whatever,
of
dude.
your mind.
Cody,
Whatever.
Chuba had 21 for 69. Deontay Foreman had 12 for 68.
Today? Yeah, good.
Happens
by
when he
the-
rushes the same amount
Yeah,
of
they're
yards.
not even comparable,
Not
man.
even comparable, dude. Deontay
Telling
Foreman's
you,
a better
Chuba
running
is
back.
a
That's the
bum.
number
Chuba
one
is.
running back, dude. You guys
Chuba
are
is
some
whiskey.
haters,
As he
bro.
should be.
Whiskey Chuba. That's what Chuba is whiskey Chuba.
I don't even know what that
Can't
means.
get it up. Oh, well.
Oh,
maybe
shut
you
up.
drink too much whiskey.
God, you
And
guys
it's not anything bad. Like, okay, he didn't fumble the ball today. Yay. Okay, he caught the ball. Like, you're sitting here. I'm not going to. Okay, that was his best game of his career then.
No, it wasn't the best.
Think
one.
about that.
The short one.
21
It
for
was-
No, that's that dumb shit.
the
It wasn't
last
the
one
best
where
game.
they
was
did that
his,
100 where they both
It
hit
was close
100.
to his
Okay.
second best game, though. His best game was against the Lions, 12
Right.
for 125.
Yep.
This one was 21 for 69. His next best game is 14 for 74 against Seahawks. That's
Yeah.
his second best or third best game of his career.
Still,
He didn't
dude,
score
he
touchdowns.
still has 3
He didn't
games
score
over
touchdowns.
60
Sucks,
yards.
dude.
Whatever. Don't want to
Sucks.
cut his ass. I'm
I
saying
will.
he's
I'll
not a
cut him
receiver.
today.
He's
I
a
will cut
decent
him
running
today.
back.
Knife.
Oh,
Give me the
God.
knife. No, you can find
I
anybody. I
appreciate
mean,
what
like,
he did,
as
but
somebody
he's
here
not the
is
guy.
all right. As we're concluding, and I'm sorry, listeners, that you have to listen to the final post game of this season, kind of search for something other than the game to talk about. We should be talking about the game. But
I'm trying
listen to this. This
Hey.
is, and we'll talk about this at Tuesday on the kind of wrap up of the season show. But we have gone from a Cody Lashney, who has always wanted to be a guy who was most importantly about getting a draft pick, to a guy who has
Well-
told me, nope, listen, let me finish, who has told me that the running back position is the most expendable position in the league.
Yeah.
And now we're at the end of the season. And all season long, Cody Lashney has gone to the guy that win for the culture. Let's win. Let's try to get the playoffs. And now Chuba Hubbard is the fucking importantest thing to talk about at the end of the season. Who gives a
dude.
fuck
Oh
about
my
him,
God.
man? Who cares?
One, the only reason why I ever wanted to tank in the past is when the
It's not
Panthers
about
were
that.
out of it. And number
You're an
two,
opportunist, dude.
Chuba Hubbard proved that point, Tony. He was a guy that was drafted as an afterthought in the 4th round, and everybody wanted to cut him. And meanwhile, this guy, if you give him a good run lane, this guy can make some good damn plays, man. You know,
There's one other argument we can get rid of too, though.
What?
And this isn't between us. You guys, you saw Brady Christensen go down today, which was sad. This is actually the saddest part of today's game.
Yeah, I hope
was
he's not hurt
Brady
bad.
Christensen and Austin Corbett both left with injury. And the thing we had to watch is Michael Jordan come out there and play left guard. I think that has been answered. I think Aston answered. Objection, Your Honor. Aston answered. Michael Jordan is terrible.
Yeah, he's
He's
so
terrible.
bad, dude. Did you know
Brady
what I put on?
Christensen clearly is an underrated player on this team.
You know what I put on Twitter? I put Michael Jordan, the football player, is worse at football than Michael Jordan, the basketball player, was at baseball.
And that's an insult to Michael Jordan, the baseball player, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I know, dude.
I mean, Michael Jordan, the baseball player, Michael Jordan can do anything better than Michael Jordan. And if you
Yeah.
know who I'm talking about 23 is way better than that guy today who just fell around the field. And look at this. This is how I'm going to circle, and this joke is going to circle all the way around here. Michael Jordan today came out there and was just a turnstile. Man, it was just a free rush up the middle at Sam Darnold, who was just running for his life. Michael Jordan also, his first play of the game was that 3rd and 1. And everybody who tells us he's a more bully pass blocker, he's too tall to get underneath the pads in those big fat sets right there.
But not everyone tells us that. Only
right,
a few
but got work to right.
That.
Well, I'm trying to tell you. And then this is that there's another play. I see this guy, and all he does is fall around the football field. He fell around twice on this one play. He fell forward, then he fell backwards. He was just trying to chase people, falling around. Look, just like it just. And the irony of this is he fell on the fucking football and got the touchdown. He falls everywhere.
Dude, Mike Todd 8. It says MJ got the only touchdown of the day. Don't win without him.
I know. This is the most ironic shit in the history of the world. Is the worst player on this team today was also the most important player.
He scored.
Yeah.
Or the best player. He scored the touchdown, and he was the worst. He was he was the CJ Henderson of this week. Ooh, should we turn that? Ooh, maybe that's a good idea. Going forward next year, we need votes for this as we continue to evolve as a post-game show going into the future. We do the Towel of Shame right now, but maybe we could add a couple of awards or something like that where like most torch player or something, and we could call it the CJ Henderson Award, or like, we could start to name our awards after some of these debates we have. Maybe we'll call it I don't know. Who was the guy we were the Chuba Hubbard Award, the least important. What would you call that? The most average player?
I think we would
award?
have to call it. I think you'd have to call it something that's not name specific because these guys are so temporary on our rosters.
Yeah.
But I listened to this one podcast. It is a Bill Simmons podcast, but it's a movie podcast. It's called The Rewatchables. And they watch old movies, and he does a bunch of basketball analogies, and you just kind of come to learn them. Like, you don't know what they mean when you first listen to the podcast. So it's like, and one will come to me in just a second. But like if we had the Chuba Hubbard Award, like maybe if you were a new Panther fan, you wouldn't know that. But as you listen to the show for 6 or 7 weeks, you would realize the Chuba Hubbard Award means the most average mofo on the world.
Oh, I haven't.
That's what I would call that award. The most average world. Below average player that someone likes.
I know what to call it. We will award them Ryan Khalil's pillow. Did you remember in 2016, Ryan Khalil had a neck injury, and nobody knew how or why and when it happened?
He was a good Panther player.
Everybody was theorizing, Ryan Khalil must have slept on his pillow wrong. It must have really hurt his neck sleeping on that pillow. I think that would be a fun one. But I get you though. We need more awards that can pinpoint how truly terrible
maybe
a player can be.
Or how petty we are with each other. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. You're listening to the C3 Panthers postgame show. As we continue to argue about things that were hardly related to today's game, what do you guys want to talk about this game, folks? Call into the show and let us know. We're going to go into calls in just a moment. Cody, I feel like there are some people that need a lesson taught to them, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the final Panther game of the season, the final one. So you have to savor these moments because they're few and far between. And today, not only do you get to see the Carolina Panthers, beat the New Orleans Saints and sweep them, but you have come to the right place to get your heaping helping of shame. Talk to him, Big Papa.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I need you to get your broomsticks ready. I need you to go to every Saints fan, every Saints podcast, show, live stream, and talk about how the Panthers just swept them and we fired our head coach midway through the season. We released our starting quarterback from the beginning of the year. There were so many things counted against us, and we still found a way to beat the Saints week in, week out. And you've come here to the Carolina Panthers C3 Panthers Podcast to talk about how the Panthers did today, the future of the Carolina Panthers, and maybe to say goodbye to the postgame show for a few months. Well, I have one thing to say to all you freaks who have not yet hit that like button yet. Subscriber shame.
Subscriber shame. 227 strong viewers, 87 thumbs up. Please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe. Please hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. Helps us get seen by as many Panther fans as possible. Whip up on that button like the Panthers whipped up on them ants today, baby. Tony Dunn, what else we got?
Let's call it up, bro. That's what I want to do. I want to hear what the
shit.
fans are like. Let them take us through this instead of us meandering through, and we'll kind of talk about the game as they introduce some of it.
Let's do it.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
What it do, C3? It's
Can you hear
Anthony
that?
from Charlotte. You already know.
Yep. What up, Anthony?
Great season, man. I thanked y'all last week after the Bucks lost, but I want to thank y'all again for all the work you do. Awesome podcast. So happy I found it. Y'all are the best,
Appreciate you,
man.
brother.
Like, there's not a better C3. There's not a better Panthers podcast out there.
No.
And
Appreciate you, man.
I want to talk about this game. Now, it seems like I'm only one of the dudes that wants to take a chance on a quarterback. But if we don't draft a quarterback, I would just want to see Matt Corral. Okay. Sam Darnold today
Same.
proved to me why he's Sam Darnold again. Against a good defense, he can't get it done. And the Bucs defense has been bad all season, so it made sense why he was balling out last week. 53 yards, 5 completions, 2 interceptions. The whole game is unacceptable. We still need a quarterback, but hey, we got 7 wins this year. It's better than 5. Still wish this defense came out to play last week, you know? Wish we could have done this last week when it mattered.
Today, though.
But it's all good, man. I had a fun season, and it was great interacting with all the boys. And,
Appreciate it.
you know, it was just a great time. And I want to shout out Panther Pickle real quick because we were talking about this. If the Rams end up being the worst team in the league these next years after McVay leaves, then that Rams trade's going to look pretty bad, man.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
talk
if
about
that
this.
first-round pick was a potential first overall pick for Brian Burns, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. But, yeah, I just still think, you know, we have some holes. I don't think Wilkes will be back, sadly, but he did a great job. You should get a job somewhere else in the NFL, 100%. But in my opinion, we need to find that quarterback eventually, man. We just do. It's as simple as that. I mean, that was a worse game than Baker Mayfield played. Much worse than what I've seen. I mean, it was awful. It was really bad.
Sorry.
But we got the win, man. So a win is a win. 7-10 to finish out the year. Now it's time for draft season, mock drafts, all that stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to thank all y'all for the work you do once again. And you already know Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding, boys.
Anthony.
First, thank you so much
Appreciate
for your support. Man, he's been such a great addition to the community that is the C3 Panthers podcast. He has great calls all the time. Great calls after the game, intensity. There's three questions that come to mind after that call. I'm gonna pose the first one, and we're gonna save that one for Tuesday. Right. The first question I'm gonna give you right now, and we're gonna save this for Tuesday. We will not answer this one tonight. And that is, as we are endeavor into the discussion about the draft at number 9, taking a quarterback or not, or taking BPA. And BPA is a fancy way of saying not a quarterback. Right. It is
not the guy all the fans want, right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
It's true at this point.
Yeah.
For Tuesday night, I want to say this is taking quarterback a guts question. And what I mean by that is, in some ways, I feel like as we talk about the BPA thing, is like as you guys try to convince me that there's not a quarterback to take in this draft or whatever draft, you can teleport me to 10 years from now as you have the same conversation. Like, I feel like it's almost like, oh, I'm hedging my bet. Like, oh, I'm too scared to bet on that. Am I scared to bet on a quarterback at 9 by saying BPA? Save that one for Tuesday. My second question, though, that comes up today is about Darnold. And as I hear Anthony's call for this, and I understand what he's saying, I also look at what Darnold did today and actually don't see him as a big part of the fucking problem of this team. No. And I know that's so like, I mean, I know he does throw picks when he is scared as a motherfucker.
When the pressure is on him, yeah.
Well, even I feel like it was even this is that once he feels like he understands that the pressure is going to be on every play, like it was today, it was on every play. Like, I mean, he almost, and even when he did have time, there was nobody open. So I felt like as that got into his head, he fucking started to freak out even when there was no pressure. The seeing ghost thing. And I don't mean like that panicked, but I'm telling you today is that was the worst. That offensive line just got destroyed today.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like, while I do want to say Darnold isn't the answer, I cheered today. I felt guilty about this, guys. I cheered today when Sam Darnold dropped back 20 yards, running for his life, and threw it away successfully. I cheered like it was a touchdown, bro.
He's been doing that all year, man. Throwing the ball away.
Like, let's start with Sam Darnold. Winner or loser today?
I think he got the win, but I think he's still a loser for today because I think that people are going to go back and look at the stats. And even with the win, it was 10-7. And he, I guess, wasn't really responsible for the touchdown. If anything, he could have been a reason for.
I know. Yeah, even the best play, like, yes.
Yeah, I think that it's a loss for him today, to be truly honest with you.
Okay.
I think that, but to be real, I think that even if he came and blew the Saints out today, I don't think it changes much for Sam Darnold's future.
Oh,
I don't think teams are looking at him like, did you see him blow the Saints out at the end of the season last year that meant nothing to either team? Wow. Like,
I do. You know? I do. I think so. And here's why. And you guys I'm going to keep the same conversation, so whoever can take the mic. I went on Friday's Pirate Radio on Friday, and they thought I was trolling them when I said this. What about Jameis Winston? Where has his name been at this season? Oh, no. Oh, see, that's first of all, everybody goes to that is when I say that is for us. Well, maybe. No. But here, what I'm talking about is like, where was Jameis Winston? Do you not think that Jameis Winston was better than several of those quarterbacks on the field today?
Not Andy Dalton.
No.
Andy Dalton.
And by the way,
he was better than Sam even?
Andy Dalton hadn't been bad this year.
No. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Did you forget that Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions in the season one time? Like, you're not getting better.
I mean, but he also threw my point being is this. The only reason I'm bringing it up because I know the chat will be like, Tony, what are you talking about? You're so dumb, blah, blah, blah. But where Greg said that today's big game doesn't matter, right? Like if he had this game or he had a big dealing game, is what I'm saying is that Jameis Winston right now is a forgotten player.
He is
forgotten by the league. I just thought of it. Like it came to me. I was like, oh, he's still even. That's my point here is Sam Darnold can be a forgotten player. Sort of actually today, arguably lends towards him being a forgotten player than a remembered player.
I'll tell you this, and just to refresh your memory. When we beat them in the first game, our offense did nothing. The only thing was our defense, and Jameis Winston was at the helm, and they still lost with our offense looking horrendous. Right? And he still looked horrendous. He was the quarterback, and he was making poor decisions, and he got benched because he got inactive because he had the injury. But Andy Dalton, in his short time playing, showed way more on that team than Jameis Winston did.
Andy Dalton had a decent.
He won the job. Andy Dalton.
All right, so how about this?
Won that job from Jameis Winston.
Has so as you call me ridiculous by bringing up Jameis Winston's name, is Sam Darnold a better option for the Carolina Panthers than Jameis Winston?
Yes.
How can y'all even say that with a straight face?
And because look, this is what you're not gonna do. And
Recency
I know you're gonna fight me on this. You're already gonna fight me on this. I'm already lacing up my gloves here. But look, did Sam have a good stat line today? No. And if you look at that stat line and you just look at that stat line, you know, oh shit, classic Sam. You know what? He had a terrible stat line. No one is saying that he did. Are we also not going to give him credit for a game-winning drive? Because whether you like it or not, we did march down the field and get a field goal to win the game.
I'm not going to give him credit for one throw. No, that wasn't a game-winning drive. He got the ball at midfield. He threw one throw.
What about every big time?
And there was 20 yards.
I think Sam played all right today.
I'm not saying he played the game great because of one throw, dude.
He made.
But not even just that. If Tony is asking about, okay, is Sam Darnold a better option than Jameis Winston? What about every bit of Sam Darnold did make this season for the Panthers as we were pushing for the division?
But he hasn't thrown
better than Winston.
No, you brought up Winston's 33 interceptions. You brought up Winston's 33 interceptions, but you forgot his 38 touchdowns that year.
And 5,000 yards, I think, too.
Okay, Sam started at the middle of the year after not playing football since the year before. I'm not saying that he's the answer for us, but my opinion of him remains the same, that it doesn't matter what the Panthers do. If they draft a quarterback, if they go get one in free agency, or if they roll with Matt Corral, if Sam Darnold is willing to come back to the Carolinas on a cheaper contract, I think we would be much better off having Sam Darnold on this football team. And by the way, I'm going to double down that the Panthers might be in the playoffs this year if we had started Sam from the start of the season, which we should have. And that's what I wanted to do. I never wanted Baker Mayfield on him.
Can I ask you something, Cody? With you were talking about giving Sam Darnold the credit for the win and I'm saying it's one throw, and people in chat like, well, still the game-winning throw.
Hold on.
Okay, I
Greg,
get that.
You need to correct that. He's saying give credit to Sam for the game-winning drive.
He
didn't say for the win.
If say Josh Norman intercepts that ball at like the 10-yard line, does Sam Darnold have that game-winning drive?
Nope.
That's why I can't really give it credit for him, because he threw one pass that had 20 yards after catch.
Too many ifs and buts,
you know.
Too many ifs and buts makes for Cody's aunt being his uncle and all of that mess. My point is y'all are acting like Jameis Winston is a fucking ridiculous name when we watched all of that today. A, and B, I think this is sadly Sam Darnold played very, very well. Even not today. He played well. He played
way better than anyone thought he was exceptionally going to.
He just only throws those stupid picks when his head gets all crazy.
Right.
And the thing is that he did not. Who came out a winner or a loser today? And he didn't come out a loser, but he didn't get more money today, which might actually be friendly to Carolina. But nobody's in here going, should we roll with Cam? Actually, let me change my perspective. I was listening to I told you guys I was riding home right after the game, and the call was with Jordan Gross and Anoush, or whatever. Anoush. Well, I just made up that dude's name. Whoever the new play by
Close. You're close. You're in the ballpark.
Whatever that guy's name is, the new one, not Mick Mixon, new Mick Mixon. And the one thing they did say today that I thought was interesting, they said a lot of things that were interesting, but if Sam Darnold really did come back next year, I think what he did, they said this, what he did in these 5 games he started, 6 games he started, would not merit, like the locker room would not revolt and go, we have no belief in our success.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like, is that maybe 6 games ago, and you said we're going to run it, we're going to go with Sam Darnold and a rookie this year. The defense, the people that are in there fighting every day, who are actually playing well, like, would Frankie Louvu be like pumped doing whatever the dance he does when they said Sam Darnold's coming back? And they said that his performance towards the end of the season probably has merited some confidence and some camaraderie by the other players on the team.
It's got to. I mean, you got to look at what happened last week. I mean, as much as that sucks that we lost, I mean, he got the 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers, and they were beautiful passes. Like, these aren't like layup passes he was throwing. He threw a dime to Shi Smith, to DJ Moore, and Tommy Tremble. Like, you can't remove those things. And here's the other part you've got to think about with Sam Darnold over the past, outside of this game, prior to this game, the stats came in. He was number 1 in the NFL as far as yards per attempt, meaning he's having way more efficiency with the deep balls than most any other quarterback in the NFL was for the past 5 weeks prior to this week. We had one of the most efficient offenses, meaning top 5 efficiency as far as like in a lot of different grades and whatnot, as in the past 5 weeks. Like, this offense was purring with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold did a great job. And when you look at he was number 1 here, like at the top of the list for that yards per attempt. And then he was number 2 was Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes is like a full yard behind him.
Can I say something, though? Do you mean yards per attempt or per completion? Because if it's yards per attempt, that doesn't mean anything about how efficient he is. That just means you're throwing the ball down the field a lot.
No, it does not. It's yards per attempt, meaning that's actual so yards. You take the yards that he has, divide that by the attempts. His yards per attempt, meaning the reason that's important for you to take into effect is that showing your efficiency of throwing the ball down the field, because it's taking all of your attempts into account. And if you're somebody who's got a 50% completion rate, well, guess what? Your yards per attempt are going to be absolute dog water, like four yards, right? But if you're somebody who's efficient, who's actually getting the ball where it needs to be, and you're making deep passes down the field, that yards per attempt is a pretty big indicator of how efficient a quarterback is.
Today and we saw injuries. Well, I'm sure the callers will talk about this. Today was the first time this season that I remember the quarterback having to feel like he needed to run from the moment he got the ball.
Yeah.
There's not been another game this season where I really felt like that the entire time.
Is that okay? How about this? Is that a testament to both Brady Christensen and Austin Corbett and how good they have been? So it's like we've been healthy on the offensive line.
Yes.
We've been this whole year on the offensive line, and then as soon as those guys go down, oh, dude, we're back to our brand of Carolina offense, man. Sam running for his life.
Sam was like, I know exactly where I'm at. He should have gone to the sideline and shaved his beard.
I figured it out. Sam got that PTSD when he saw Michael Jordan coming back onto the field, dude. He knew what was happening. He knew what was going to happen to him, dude.
Yes. I mean, we have not seen that we have not seen that entire season. And how about that? How refreshing is it for this podcast? Maybe the best thing of this entire season has been the fact that the offensive line has not been the whipping boy of whipping boys.
Yeah.
Like we
were proud of our O-line this year.
Yeah. And today, Sam Darnold snapped that ball and said, oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
And you know where the pressure did come? It did come up the middle. It did. And
Yeah.
I don't even need to call out players. Let's go to the next call. The number's 252-228-5098.
Fuck no, sir. Fuck no, sir. Fuck no, sir.
Well, hold on.
7-10, 6-6 to end off the year. Clearly shows this team had talent. You know, Steve Wilkes was a marginal upgrade over Matt Rule, but let's not act like Steve Wilkes is really the answer to lead us to the promised land. It's now time to get a head coach that will get more out of this team than Steve Wilkes, like how he did with Matt Rule. Anyways, sucks. DJ, no 1K this year. That's very sad news. I like how I saw a full display of Sam Darnold's elite arm talent, quote unquote, from Cody. You know, when he completely underthrew the fucking pass to DJ Moore in the fourth quarter in like what, the 2-minute drill? Yeah, elite arm talent. Love to hear it. And granted, while I said he had small hands and was wrong, he still got a clear ass fucking fumble problem. Sam Darnold, that is. I mean, like that's the second time he's fumbled at the goal line. While neither of them cost us this year, let's not act like that can't cost us in the future. And Eddie.
Oh yeah.
Why couldn't you have done that in Atlanta, bro? You could have just did that in Atlanta and we'd have been cool, bro. Nah, now you wanted to miss shit then, make shit now. That's cool. Will Lutz has tore us an asshole for years, and now today he shit the bed. That's great. Great fucking news. Fuck the Saints. You know, how they like that dust in the dustpan because we swept that ass. Fuck New Orleans. You know, that's revenge from 2017. Fuck the Saints. This franchise still needs a quarterback, so let's stop trying to avoid the problem and, you know, let's get a quarterback and build around him so he can develop and be great. But yeah, that's really how I feel about the off season. I don't know what pick we have, but it's whatever. If we trade up, it should only be for a quarterback. If we stay here, if we stay at our pick, we should definitely go defense no matter what. On to the off season. Love y'all, Panther Nation, and love the podcast, C3. You guys are amazing. Getting the call in after every game and going on Friday free for all. It's amazing. Love C3. Panther Nation, let's keep pounding. You know, while it may have been another losing season, we still have hope for the future. We all know this team has fucking talent. Eventually, we will get the most out of it. Whether we...
All right.
Oh, he might have been cut off, huh?
Yeah.
Appreciate you, JJ.
Well, he has
My fault on the second call. I'll make this one quick. Where was I? Whatever. Whether we think we're going to get the most out of this talent on this team and build this franchise the way we think it should be or not, eventually our team will be back. We will get back to the keep pounding ways. And all I really want to see the most in 2023 and the 2023 season is that CJ to DJ combination, man. Let's get it. All right, guys.
CJ Stroud.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
So, I gotta address a couple of things. Number one, people are talking about that interception that he threw deep to DJ Moore. Like, you guys gotta go back and look at that. Like, he was getting hit because he had no time to set his feet. Like, there was nothing he could have done. Like, he could not get more.
It looked like he threw it right to the defensive player, though.
We never gave any other quarterback that excuse, though.
Well,
you're saying we didn't give it when they threw interceptions.
We did
underthrew balls.
100%. I 100% gave that benefit to Baker Mayfield and PJ Walker every time. If there was pressure in his face, I 100% always gave him credit for that because I don't think that it's fair to say that this is their fault. That the fumbled snap again. That didn't happen. That happened to come our way because Sam Darnold was able to, corral it. But that fumble on the goal line was the biggest problem as far as like his fumbling position. But outside of that, Sam Darnold does not have a fumbling problem. This year, he has been one of the more ball security when it comes to fumbles
that's a
in the
1
league.
year look. He usually fumbles everywhere, though.
Right, but I'm saying what everybody's talking about this game and saying that Sam Darnold, like right now, Sam Darnold has shown so much growth that it's worth to say that that is not a problem. Second, you want to talk about Eddie Pinheiro, right?
Oh,
like you want to do, like I get the frustration of Atlanta. I get it. But the dude has the #1 kickoff or field goal percentage in the entire NFL, and he's got more kicks than most people in the NFL. So he's not even just getting higher percentages; he's kicking more field goals than most everybody else. Which a lot of times you can say, "Oh, you only kicked 10 field goals." No, he's like kicked just as many as Justin Tucker for the most part. Like this dude is not. It's not a.
He
fair
has not
comparison.
been bad at all.
He's
not been bad.
His only 2 field goal misses came in the same game, and that was in Atlanta. That was it. He has been.
No, he had the one in the Browns game, I think.
Well, that might have been an extra
Didn't he
point,
have one in the Browns?
He's only missed 2.
I think it was
he's only
one
missed 2.
in the Browns game in the very beginning of. No, but like his Pinheiro is not the problem, and arguably, I would say, I feel just as steady, if not more steady, than with him than I do with Zane Gonzalez. I want to shout out some people on Twitter since I got an extra monitor hooked up today so I can see more things. Santa Peen on Twitter at the boss Peen, P-A-E-A-N, tagged us all in this. He said the post-game shows, Friday Free for all were some entertaining stuff throughout the year. Really helped me with my anxiety. Felt like you were just with the boys shooting the shit. Love that type of. That's exactly what we're trying to do. I want to remind everybody we are not, or I don't think we're football experts. I'm not, but I am an expert football fan.
Speak for yourself.
I think I'm an expert. Look, that's the thing is, and if anybody, this is the awesome thing is you can tell me I'm not a football expert, and we can prove that. But it is impossible to prove that somebody is an expert football fan, because all you got to do is be a fan and you're an expert at it.
All right.
I mean, that's it.
Can't be wrong. Hey, yeah. Hey, before we get off this Pinheiro topic, can I touch on something that we saw in the chat room earlier? And I want to bring it up. I knew kicking would come up one time. I don't want to hear anybody say Eddie Pinheiro won this game. If we can't say he didn't lose the Atlanta game, we can't say he won this game. I'm sorry. You cannot give him credit for winning this game if you can't give him a credit for losing.
Oh, yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Oh, no,
you can't. When you're the one guy
he
that no
brought
matter
it up,
what you do,
he can't
no matter
do it. We
what you
cannot do it again.
Listen, you can't tell me it's fair that with the outcome of what I do, wins or loses the game, and I get credit for the win, but I don't get credit for the loss. You can't. That's not fair. You cannot say that.
He's not. He's got a point, Tony. Like you can't. Those can't be two of the same.
Are you really going to make me do this?
Yes.
Yeah, because you were the one.
The show goes on. Like, we call it the longest running Panthers podcast, and you want to make this shit go on for 7 hours, Greg. Your argument is flawed.
Of Pinheiro, and that
you're
he
flawed.
didn't
It's
lose
100% flawed. It's 100% flawed.
Okay.
So, and here's why: is today he literally won the game,
and he would have literally won the game in Atlanta had he made that kick.
Yeah.
And
kickers.
So they lost it.
So he lost
it. Wrong. Look, listen to this. This statement is logically true.
Oh, God,
kickers can win games, but they don't lose them.
No, that's not fair, man. That is not fair by any means.
Well, you know what? The world's not fucking fair, but it's true. Right. It's so is that he went out there and did a. Imagine this: if you had a chance to throw one pass, it's 4th and 12, right, or 4th and 17, and you miss that play. Do you say that quarterback lost the game for that team?
I mean, you're talking about a different
if you're
situation.
Saying what?
That's a different situation, man.
No, it's not a different situation. You're saying this.
It is.
Is that all right? So it is 4th and goal. 4th and goal. And this quarterback throws the ball. You run one play. It's a pass play. It's incomplete.
Did he throw it on target or off target?
It's a different situation too. You're depending on the receiver catching the ball. You're depending on what the defense, how good the defense is. You're playing. You're picking the ball.
Well, aren't you depending on a snap, the wind? You're depending on something all the fucking time.
Right, but at the end of the day,
if you complete that pass, you win the game. But there were 700 plays earlier, not that many. There were 40 plays that could have contributed to the win before. You didn't lose the game. You just didn't win it.
Leave
it to Tony to have a rudimentary.
Listen, if he throws
I've been saying this. You guys, we argue about this every week. That's Tony, the problem. You don't want to go.
We did it that one week.
If he throws that pass, if he throws that pass and it's incomplete because he overthrew it, yes, it's his fault.
He lost
the
ball.
He lost the game. If he throws that pass and it's a dropped pass. No, it's not his fault. Just like a kicker, if it's a botched snap, it's not the kicker's fault. But if the kicker gets a clean snap, kicks the ball, and just misses it, that's his fault.
Okay.
Period. Right. That's all there is.
Eddie Pinero,
how about that? Is a loss, and you could have won. Then you
you didn't lose the game. You didn't win it.
You're not the only reason the game lost.
Lost the Falcons game. He lost the Falcons game.
Okay.
Which
and
means
he
won
the
Saints
game.
Today.
You guys play shuffleboard? You play shuffleboard?
No.
Yeah, I have.
No, I'm not.
All right. Do you know what the game of shuffleboard is, though?
Yes.
It's kind of like.
No, I'm also not 90 years old.
No, that's not the one with the sweeper. It's the one you go to the bar and you slide the thing down the road.
Oh,
it's not the one that's the old people.
What, dude? Are you on an old folks' home boat?
Man, we could do the same thing with cornhole, right? And let's just say this. And reason me on this, and then let's go to the next call. If you and I are on a team, Greg, if you and I are on a team and we have been playing this game where the goal is to get to 21, right? And we have the other team has got 20 and we have 18. And it's my go to go throw, or your go. How about this? Let's say it's your go. To throw that beanbag into that hole and win the game, and you don't. And then the other guy throws just one up there, and they win. If I looked to you and said, Greg, you lost that game for us. What if you had scored think about like the entirety of us playing cornhole the whole time, and say you scored 11 or 12 out of the points, and you had been like, you know what I'm saying, like a positive force in our competition. And if I looked at you and said, you lost that cornhole game for us and walked away, what would you feel like?
It would suck, but there'd be a little bit of truth to it. If I had the opportunity to win,
you would say I didn't win it for us, but we all fucking okay.
Tony,
I can't wait to play cornhole with y'all. I'm gonna suck it up, and I'm gonna be like, Greg, you fucking.
Your cornhole example, Tony.
Look, dude, Michael Davis made the best comment. Tony's talking like he's already moving into the village with the Golden Girls. Come on, dude. What are you talking about?
The difference, Tony, in your cornhole example, and this is the difference.
I can't wait to hang out with any of y'all.
I'm shooting that shot, right? If I make that shot, it doesn't determine whether we win or lose the game. Okay, I can score points on that, but it doesn't mean we're gonna. That doesn't mean we're gonna win or lose.
No, if we're at 18 and you make it, we win.
Right, but if I miss it, it doesn't mean we lose. That's my point.
Well, if the other guy just makes it up, and
you see what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing.
If I miss it, it doesn't mean we lose.
But Tony, here's the other part, and we got to move on from this.
I know this is ridiculous.
This guy is getting paid. Was getting paid to get we're talking about professional level athletes. Right, you can't use you and Greg playing shuffleboard as these guys literally practice day in and day out. Now, if you're talking about professional shuffleboard people, I guarantee you, whoever didn't get the points are gonna felt like they lost the game. I guarantee you, Eddie Pinero felt like he lost.
But
if
we turned to them and said, "You lost us," that they might.
But his teammates aren't turning to him saying he lost that game. We are as fans.
Yeah, I am.
None of us are sitting there talking
that won't go kick that field goal. That's the other thing, and I hate when professional athletes come out and say all you do is kick. Well, then why didn't you bitches be a kicker? That's what I would say. Is that if that's all you do, if it's the easiest thing to do? Do you know Odell Beckham Jr. said this once, that he would rather have gone pro. I think it was in basketball or soccer, but
Yeah,
he
that'd
said
be a field goal
football
kicker.
was, but football was easier. Think about that.
I mean,
That's
if you
all.
have the skill set,
Hey guys,
probably.
it's Joey the Blind Panther, aka the growl that makes him howl. Weird ass game today, but guess what? We swept the Saints, and doesn't that feel awesome? And we won.
It does.
We won. Steve Wilkes finished with a win. That was the last thing David Tepper remembers about Steve Wilkes is that he won that weird ass game, overcame all those issues. Yeah, I know the Saints are so bad. Matt Rule and Baker Mayfield beat them. Didn't I tell you? What'd I tell you? That's what I told you guys. You know what? This game confirmed it. They are dog shit. They need to be rebuilt. They need to be rebuilt from top to bottom. They're bad. I hope they're bad for a while. So that means like we get, so that we can sweep their ass every year. But I hope the Falcons are worse than them. Everybody at my work is pissed about last week. I'm meeting everybody that's not a Cowboys fan or, everybody's not a Cowboys fan. But there's New England fans that I know can't stand Tom Brady anymore. And she said her and her son were watching that game. She's like, and her son's like, Brady's the luckiest quarterback I ever seen in my life. And she was mad that we didn't win. Like weird game. Love to win that. And even Aziz Sharak was saying that if this game was in September, we would have lost by 3 touchdowns. Even Aziz Sharak, even the radio guy who pretty much works for the team was taking shots at Matt Rule. But actually, no, the Saints are so bad that the game wasn't September, and we beat their ass by 3 touchdowns. So yeah, I guess he was taking a shot at the Saints too. Anyway, guys.
That was the last post game. Round.
Yeah.
When I say it sounds like a kitty cat.
And dude, you know how it's a C3 row? Because it gets longer and longer every time, dude.
The longest running Panthers podcast meets the longest running Panthers row.
Yeah, I mean it's only right.
So fitting.
Yeah, look, Steve Wilkes, he did what he needed to do today. I mean, it was not a pretty performance, but yeah, he did finish with a W. And one of the biggest questions surrounding this offseason that I guess we'll kind of get more here in a week or so is did Steve Wilkes do enough to actually merit being the head coach full time? I still think he's fighting a very uphill battle, but I have no arguments and no qualms for anybody that is 100% on the Steve Wilkes train, man. I hear you, and I want that to happen too. Real quick, Tony, just so I don't forget, Retrieve with the $2 says Greg paid 89.2 H8 kickers and push narrative. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Bill, but we appreciate that $2. And then White Chocolate says 2022 season shy 296 yards and 2 touchdowns. Demir Bird 268 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's right, baby. Shy Smith is better than Demir Bird. Let's go. What's up? Stay mad, Tony Dunn. Stay
Next
mad
call.
about it.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm excited about today's win. I was excited that we won. I know a lot of people probably wanted us to come out here and lay over and get a better draft pick, but quite frankly, there's a lot of good players in the draft. There's a lot of fucking draft busts. You can draft at number 1 or number 30, and you can still get a bust. We weren't going to get a quarterback anyways. I personally want a defensive lineman or a linebacker. I don't know what do y'all think about trading up for a quarterback? I don't think we should. I just think we should build the team. And the biggest thing I was rooting for today was Steve Wilkes. I mean, this team, I truly want Steve Wilkes to come back. And if you want him to come back, then you needed this team to come out and fight and play like they wanted Steve Wilkes to come back. And they absolutely did. The offense was terrible a lot of the game. I thought Sam Darnold, outside of those picks, really didn't play that bad. He did everything he could. He got out of the pocket. He was scrambling, and he threw it away. And he didn't make, outside of those interceptions, he didn't make a bunch of terrible mistakes. I don't know why we keep snapping the ball early, but I thought this was a huge game for getting Steve Wilkes to come back because that defense played with a fire under him. They had some huge stops on third down. They had a huge stop on fourth down. They had a huge stop right after the second Sam Darnold interception. And I thought it was huge that Sam, after that pick, bounced back, went right down the field, had a big run, big throw. And Eddie Pinheiro, another one of the biggest reasons I think Steve Wilkes is such a great coach. I mean, so many coaches would have just given up on Steve on their kicker and just cut him after a game like he had against the Falcons. But I think that really shows how good of a coach he is, the way we are able to let Eddie Pinheiro bounce back, because kicking is such a mental game, and he was able to get the team to rally around him. And I thought that was really special. And another question I have is, if Steve Wilkes does come back, do you think Ben McAdoo comes back as the offensive coordinator? It wouldn't be my favorite choice. I don't know how his relationship is with him, but I guess, do you think that Ben McAdoo should come back? And I thought today's game was huge. And do you think that this game solidifies or at least helps Steve Wilkes' case for getting the job? Because if they'd come out here and laid an egg, I'll tell you what, he definitely wasn't going to get the job. So I was pretty happy with today overall. Who do you think we should draft? Do you think we should trade up in the draft? Thank y'all for the podcast. I've been calling in a long time and never leave a name. I thought I was somebody else last time. It's Civil Peach. I'm going by that from now on.
All right.
Happy seasons, boys. I'll see you in the off season.
Civil Peach. Appreciate you, brother. That's a great call. What do we think about Ben McAdoo?
Where do you start?
Obviously,
One, right?
Let's start with McAdoo. Obviously, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure you guys agree, the only way that he even has a chance of being the offensive coordinator next year is if Steve Wilkes retains his job as the head coach. And even then, that's not guaranteed
I
to
think
happen.
it's a no either way.
Upgrade either way. But I don't know, considering that the Panthers broke rushing records this year behind one of the best offensive lines that the Panthers have maybe ever had. I mean, up there with the 2015, 2013. I mean, it was a damn good old line. How do you not give even a little bit of the credit to the offensive coordinator in doing that?
You just don't. I mean, like he just said, run the ball. He said run the ball. He said run the ball, and you ran the ball. Look, I told you guys when the season started that I thought that one of the best things that Matt Rule actually did was put together a staff when everybody knew it was a sinking ship, and somehow piece together a group of guys like Ben McAdoo, like Steve Wilkes, even like we were leaning on Tabor. Think about how good our special teams have been this year. And James Campen, who was the offensive line coach. So yeah, we could say this is give the credit to James Campen, not Ben McAdoo. Look, I mean, Ben McAdoo did fine. And that's somebody who is kind of a Ben McAdoo defender, but he's not going to be back next year. Sorry. And let's get over this. Oh, you ran the ball the best you ever had. Ben McAdoo doesn't want to run the ball. Like, he did this begrudgingly. He did it begrudgingly. He's not a guy who really believes in that power run game. Doesn't that make
those numbers even more impressive? That he's a throw-it-first offensive coordinator, and he helped the Panthers break records running the football? Like, I don't know. I just think that
maybe he's camping in that line. I mean, look, when you call a run play and they bust off 30 yards, is it like, oh, that was the best? Look, I could have been the offensive coordinator and called the run play, and it goes for 3 yards. That you had that one game where they were chopping off 30 yards at a clip. That's skewing the numbers a little bit. I'm going to tell you this, is that big game against the Lions skews the numbers a hair. There's a couple of games, that Falcons game where we brushed like an incredible amount. Whoa. And also
Tony, I gotta interrupt you, man.
All right.
Stats is the fucking coolest. He's the coolest. And it's just official. He's the coolest. 50 gifted C3 Panther
gosh.
Podcast memberships.
Where are you guys seeing this?
Yeah, like regular YouTube chat. You can't see it on this.
Oh, okay. I gotta work. All right, I got you.
It's
50?
50.
Welcome to the.
And
Wow.
so he donated 9. He did 9
Incredible.
the other night. He did 9 the other night. He did
This is
20 earlier.
perfect for this show.
And 50 just now. Dude, Strats, you're the man, bro.
He understands the meaning of the podcast. That's actually the biggest meaning to me. Might be the most meaningful donation you can do. As all we're trying to do is build the car. Get in the fucking caravan. Yeah. We're going to the game and we're coming back. Guess what? We're gonna be driving to the draft next. We're gonna be driving to Tepper's house next to let's take care of this interview for this.
Use them emojis. Now that Strats gave y'all the membership. Use them Panthers emojis, man. We're gonna be uploading more too.
We need to get a gift one too. What did we say? The other one we was gonna get. What was the other one we said tonight?
The conspiracy hat for Greg.
All right, we gotta write this down. Greg, write this down. You're our note keeper. Right. Conspiracy hat emoji and gift emoji. We got to get some sort of birthday cake or something, or gift or something, because that is a cool one, and you should deserve an emoji for that gift right there.
The only thing StreamYard needs to do is they need to show the YouTube emojis in the chat. So like when I bring it up, it's just all words and shit. But we need the actual actual emojis. But yeah, hey man, use them up. Strats, you're the man, dude. We certainly appreciate you, brother.
What else did he bring up in that call? We brought up there was one other thing.
Trading up for a quarterback.
Oh, that's yes, perfecto. The Bears just moved into number 1. I saw someone say in the chat earlier.
Yeah,
think
Houston
about
winning and the Bears losing put them at number 1. So that was that's odd. Imagine being the Colts and getting swept by, or somewhat swept by the Texans. They tied the first week of the season, but
if you're the Bears, do you consider just trading Justin Fields to us? Would you trade?
No.
How about this? Think about this.
I like Justin more than any quarterback in this class.
All right. How about this? You would trade the number 9 pick right now for Justin Fields?
I wouldn't.
No, I don't know how much we're giving up for that.
So what? We wanted to pick him at 8 or whatever it was.
Like
what
Justin,
was it?
But I'm not.
That was time. We didn't have any other options then.
Wow. So you would not give our first round pick today for Justin Fields?
No.
Wow.
Maybe if it was just our first round pick.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I just said.
So you
mean our only pick?
So you mean just our number 9 pick this year and that's it?
Straight up.
Yeah, then I'd do that.
Because they could pick their quarterback at number 1.
Then we can
they could just have a number 9 pick.
Yeah. Then we can stop fighting between J.C. Horn and Justin Fields and just say, hey, we got them both.
There you go.
That would be dope.
But they're keeping Justin Fields. They're going to build around. My question is,
then you have to trade up to 1.
Bears, but that's the thing, though. If you're the Bears, we're all hoping and, we're all thinking that there's going to be a team that's, great enough to want to trade up. But what if the Bears don't get the offer that they're looking for? Are they just going to sit there and take whatever, or take Jalen Carter number 1 overall? Or
what is
Anderson?
Who would you be willing to give up?
I'm telling you this. I would give that 9 straight up for Justin Fields. All right. So what would be, if you're a team that has a bazillion holes like they do, they have no offense, they have no defense, wouldn't it be better to have more than 1 top 10 pick or something like that than just 1 top 10 pick and you get the best defensive player, the best offensive tackle?
DPA.
What if you could get 2 incredible players right there? So I would just trade the number 1 pick for us. Give you know what I'm saying? Like you can get our 9 and a ton of shit.
So Tony, are you saying you'd rather have Justin Fields than the number 1 pick? Like say the option for us to trade for both of them.
No, you don't think they're going to pick a quarterback, right? Yes.
I mean, if they trade Justin Fields, I imagine they'd pick a quarterback.
I wouldn't rather. Yeah, because all y'all are scared to take one of these.
That's what I'm saying. So Tony, would you rather have the number one if we're going to trade with them and they're both on the table, we can make the trades. Would you rather have the number
I
one
think
pick
Justin Fields would be cheaper than the number one pick.
Okay.
All right. So
And,
how does it behoove the Bears to just pick the best defensive player in the draft rather than potentially picking three great players? What if you gave them a first this year? Of like, what is that? Like, what would be the minimum asking price? It would have to be your first this year, a first next year, and like a second and a third. If you're the Bears, that's a no-brainer. If you really love Justin Fields, you just do it.
Yeah, but the question around the Bears is that they have a dog shit O-line and they have no receivers. And
yes,
so,
they have a billion holes. One player is not going to fix it.
Yeah, but okay, right, but
they need like 7 good picks.
But again, if you listen that you like in Justin Fields long term, I still think that you build around him rather than just,
I'm not saying not
go
build
with the
around.
next
What I'm
best
saying is
option
this:
in the
if you
draft.
only, all right, you're not. I don't think you understand. Maybe I'm not being clear, and I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But like, just picking number one doesn't build around Justin Fields. Like if you said this, like whatever your offer is not cool enough for me. You're saying that number one pick is more important than that. But if we said this is like if any team said we'll give you our first and it's a top 10 pick already, right? Say the 9, the 5, the 7, pick whatever the fuck number the team is offering. And we're going to give you 2 seconds, first. Now, like you would say, we have so many holes, you have to do that.
Yeah,
Like just getting them the best defensive, so like the Bears have no reason if they truly, they either have to pick a quarterback or trade out.
How much do you think that would cost, though? No, but I hear you though. Like they need another offensive tackle, they need another D lineman, they need receivers, they need everything. Point taken. But if you're okay, let's just say hypothetically here with the Panthers going to that position, what would you for that first pick?
Well, you were ready to give up an entire draft for an incredible player in your mind.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but there's no
so
Trevor
I think it would be reasonable to say this is that you would have to give this year's first, next year's first, and multiple other picks in the process to jump to number one. I think that would be the minimum. Like you would have to any team, even if you were the 5th, the 7th, or the 9th, whatever you pick it. Okay. Multiple first this year and next year, and also like maybe all those McCaffrey picks. Yeah,
probably. But all right, now let me kind of change the question a little bit, and I want to ask all of you on the panel in the chat: do you think the Panthers are amongst the teams now that Chicago has the number one, and most people think they want to trade down? Do you think that the Panthers would be feisty enough to trade for that number one pick? Would they be? So, for example, right? No, okay. When
I haven't answered this. I just feel like
let me finish this thought out though. So, if you're if Houston Texans are picking number one, you know that they're going quarterback, right? And more than likely, they're probably taking Bryce Young. If the Panthers,
and also the 5 teams after the Bears too, by the way, could arguably all take quarterbacks.
Let's just say you're the Panthers, and through your evaluation process, you fall head over heels in love with Bryce Young. Are the Panthers a team that would do like what Big Jordan says, a gangster move, and move all the way up to the number one pick in the draft to get the guy that they want? I'll leave that open to absolutely everyone.
I think that all depends on what you're saying there is how in love are you with the quarterbacks that are there at number one? Like if you're completely in love with CJ Stroud or Bryce Young and you think they are without a doubt the answer, then yeah, I think you give up heaven and earth to move to get them. That's what you're wanting to build your team around. But I don't think they're sold on anybody to that extent. So no, I don't think they'll do it.
The answer is this. Very simple. I know it. and that is it clearly and only contends on who the coach of the Panthers is. If it's a Steve Wilkes coach team, then no. I promise you this, is that if Steve Wilkes is named the head coach this year, you're not jumping up to number one and you're saying, oh, wow, this offensive coach right here is picking this or that. But if you courted a different coach who, under the kind of the pretenses of him coming there, was starting a new era, then you would absolutely could believe it could happen, right? But if you pick, if D'Amico Ryans is our head coach next year, we're not trading everything and going and getting him a quarterback and pretending that his quarterback evaluation is going to make the difference or something like that. So if Steve Wilkes is the coach, if D'Amico Ryans is the coach, if anybody who isn't some sort of sexy offensive guy that you're ready to kind of latch everybody, handcuff the quarterback to that coach, you're not going to do that. Look at what the Texans did last year. Did the Texans let Lovie Smith pick the next quarterback of the future? No. In many ways, did the Arizona Cardinals let Steve Wilkes pick their quarterback? No, they forced Josh Rosen on him. So if Steve Wilkes is the coach, we're picking number 9 or trading back.
Yeah. Hey, so I want to get CK and Greg in on this discussion, but I want to read this before I forget. From my man Steve Hagler, says, I don't want to trade up, just get best player available there. Thanks for the continued great work, guys. Thanks you, Steven. We appreciate your contribution to the C3 Panthers podcast, big guy. We appreciate it, man. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
CK is last. Greg already did his.
I don't know that. Again, I am completely against. I think it's important that we don't give away more than we need to. Number one, I don't want to move up. I would only be interested in the idea of moving back. I don't. And to your point earlier, Tony, I don't know enough about Justin Fields to say that he's worth our number 9.
Right. Right. I mean, actually, that's a fair point because he runs the ball phenomenally, but he barely throws for over 125 yards.
And I don't know that that's because of offensive play calling or lack of weapons or lack of protection, whatever that may be. He's an explosive player, but I don't know that I put him on that list of people that are going to be. Honestly, like if you look at it's really easy to want to compare him and Cam Newton, but Cam Newton still had better passing stats than he did.
Oh, by a mile.
Right. And so I can't, it's just really hard for me to want to give up that type of capital. I would rather go BPA. I'm not reaching for a quarterback. I'm tired of that. It hasn't worked for pretty much any quarterback on the face of the planet.
I know. We might get Zach Wilson off the waiver wire.
Right. And so I'm just not going to be in the business of giving away multiple assets to be able to do that, especially given that we are trying to fill a few holes and we would like to be able to have this Christian McCaffrey trade feel like it's more than just one pick. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man. And the scary part about this is not scary. It's like I'm in an existential crisis on this question. Because I know what it's like to have a quarterback. And I've been telling you guys this. I've been telling you this. The land of being with knowing who your quarterback is a better land than the land that you live in where you don't know who your quarterback is. And so I don't know if me saying BPA is me just being too wussy to not gamble, but to push my chips on the quarterback I believe in. I do believe this is that if you get a quarterback in the 5th round and he turns out to start for 3 or 4 years, he should have been a 1st round pick. Who cares if you got good value or bad value with him? But after watching this Panthers team this year, I don't really feel like we're quarterback away. That's where I really look at some things, and I hate to say this. As you say,
that's what
BPA.
I've been saying.
Yeah, is actually this is the scariest thing I'm gonna say. And don't worry, you will never hear me that we need to draft a tight end. Fuck all y'all people. Nah, I mean, I love y'all people who listen, but don't worry, you ain't ever gonna hear me.
I
go
hope
that
it
far.
happens
In
just to
the
watch
first
him
round,
blow
right?
up
You're not
on
against
our-
drafting a tight end, just not in the first round, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Never draft a tight
I
end. in
do
the first
want
round.
to see you.
But I
blow
feel like
up.
we should probably draft a defensive tackle. Is that not the
Yeah.
worst? Is it not? No. Nope. You should not say yes, Cody, because you said you never drafted defensive tackle within the top 10. That was your rule. But like this team, as we look around it, it's got problems.
Yeah.
Maybe not problems. That's not the right word. Needs.
There you go.
Even on the defense. How about that? That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit that our defense still is the most needy creature on this bitch after Matt Rule tried to go around and tell the world he fixed the Panthers defense.
Yeah.
So let me
dude,
ask
we
you then.
definitely.
All right,
did.
I got mad just because I want to draft a defensive tackle now instead
Well,
of
that
a quarterback.
raises-
I feel so guilt. I feel like I need to take a bath,
Yeah.
shower.
That raises a good question for me then. If you're not drafting quarterback, let's say we're not drafting quarterback, we don't trade up, and at number 9, you have any position you want to fill. What's the position you're filling? For me, it's
Well,
linebacker.
I
know
almost just want to say linebacker at
I'm
this
picking up the
point.
linebacker. Yep.
Hey,
Is that
dude, Stats, who has become, dude, the absolute coolest, donates $2, and he says Miles Murphy from Clemson, the
Is that the
defensive
linebacker?
end from Clemson.
Okay. I read some article about a
defensive
linebacker
end.
from Clemson the other day that was supposed to be
I don't
like,
believe in any
amazing.
defensive
Simpson or
ends
something like that.
anymore.
Simpson. That was
Y'all
his name.
been trying to tell me all these defensive ends are going to be great, man. Brian Burns. How about this? Did you see? How did you guys feel about? Was them doing the Brian Burns Spider-Man celebration a tribute to
I
him?
liked it.
Were they
100%.
saying
Yeah.
that he's their mentor?
Yeah,
really.
like, hey, we're doing
I was
this for
hoping
you,
that's
Brian.
what it was.
Yeah.
Why didn't he play today?
What you thought it was?
Injury,
What'd you
dude.
thought it
No,
was?
I didn't think. I was just asking a question. I didn't have a thought about it. I had zero
Oh, okay. I didn't
questions
know. I
about
didn't
it.
know if you didn't.
I had
know.
no opinions about
Yeah,
it. I just wanted
I
to
thought it
know.
was cool. I thought it was awesome.
Why did he
you know?
not play today?
He had some sort of knee injury, right?
Ankle injury?
mean
But
they
dude,
just
why should he play?
Right. I
know
think
what I
that
mean?
would
Like,
be
I-
actually that's why I was
After Brady, the potential
Yeah.
of an ACL tear, I asked the boys a question. I said, do you think you're mad as a player if you're playing for literally nothing and you get hurt? Like, does that not?
What
like,
if
leave us-
Bradley Bozeman would have gotten hurt today?
Oh, that would have sucked.
But dude,
I
hey,
thought
how
this
about
Last game of
this?
the season,
Dude,
it would have been so
Dude,
bad.
how
but
about
it
this?
would've
How
sucked.
about this? How about this? Right, Bradley Bozeman, Brady Christensen, and Corbett. The 3 of them are like one. If you lose out on one of those guys, you're losing out on your badass interior. And if
Right.
you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, I'm telling you that the tackles are not the most important on football teams anymore. It's your interior. It's your guards and your center provides your quarterback the pocket. That's what allows you to be able to run through the A and B gaps. So, I think that it was detrimental. I think that this was just as bad as if Bozeman went out. Thankfully, it's the last game of the season, so they now have all the time in the world to be able to heal up and get better.
I guess what I was asking, Cody, was not about like if some is think about this is Bozeman is entering a free agency year. So here is this is kind of a wild and cruel part about the game and the business side of it is we're sitting here saying you should probably protect your assets like a DJ Moore, like an Austin Corbett, people who are paid. Poor Bradley Bozeman got to go out there and play a game that is ultimately meaningless in so many ways, but it's incredibly meaningful to him. Well, what if Bradley Bozeman would have sat this game out like they sat a bowl game out? What a no, that might be like, would that hurt his stock? If he said this I would rather take a pay deduction instead for one game, right? You get fined. You would get fined for stepping away from the team. Why would that hurt his stock? I don't think it should.
It does hurt your stock. No,
then it shouldn't hurt you if you sit out the bowl game then.
So even Brian Burns, but again,
It's not a rest. It's him saying I'm resting
but they're
myself.
Right, but you have to understand that they have, there's incentives on the contract. So if they're able to play
but we would
game,
not for Bradley Bozeman. There ain't no incentive for Bradley Bozeman.
We don't know that. And my point being,
I bet you money.
How about this? At least Brian Burns.
I bet you money. There's no
Brian
incentive.
Burns had an ankle injury, but if you're a player that isn't the quarterback, go out on the field for the last game of the season, that's pussy.
Well,
you can't do that.
No,
I don't
go out there.
and I can understand that, but
then you should say that about bowl games.
No, Tony, they are not getting paid for those bowl games. NIL is different. They've already made their NIL money at that point. They're not getting paid. Why would they?
No, but what if you willingly say you can't take a sick day?
If you
what do you
go
mean? I'm not saying he should get paid. He will get. He would not get his. He would not get an 17th of his paycheck. He would be fined and not be. Would you willingly give up $27,000 if you're Bradley Bozeman? Think about that. When you've put on tape legitimate play in a game where they're resting all the other players around them who have already been paid, would you I don't think that would hurt. I think arguably is Brad that maybe
scared? That's playing scared.
Playing scared?
And no,
it's just
if you okay,
it's all right. Then maybe they should just play the bowl game then.
No, if you
they should just play the bowl game, scared ass bitches
of an NFL season, then you're going out there playing
as a free agent. You're going into a free agent. You could be hurt on a team where this means. Wow,
it's different from college.
How are we even
NFL.
friends?
You've got to play.
Opposites correct.
So
let me ask though, what is the question here? When you say what does it hurt him? Are you saying does it hurt his contract chances for next year?
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Okay.
Is do you get a bunch of people like Cody out here coming around saying he's a pussy for not playing the game, or do you say
I
this?
didn't call him a pussy.
You said if he would.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But
so
you're not willing to say
did,
that about someone who makes a strategic sit out of a bowl game. Is today would be a strategic sit out. If you're resting other players under the guise of injury,
he doesn't set to lose as much money. The difference he paid in the off season as a free agent.
This mug never taken a day off of work.
Versus if he fell in the draft. If you go from the top 10 to like the bottom of the first round,
if Bradley Bozeman blows out his ACL today, all right. Well, how much does Bradley Bozeman lose if he blows out his ACL today? Guess what he doesn't do? He doesn't get signed.
Well, hold on. Can I comment on this? Because I think this is a situational type thing. Like, okay, we talked about this with Henderson or whoever it was not coming out a couple weeks ago, and I said if you're getting paid to play the game and you're healthy, you should play. So I believe he should play this game. However, Tony, I do get your point. The thing is, with him specifically, I think it doesn't really matter with him. We need him. He knows we need him. So no matter what,
if he gets hurt, we don't need him anymore.
ACL this game. I guarantee you we still sign him.
No way.
Yeah, yes. I guarantee you.
No way.
I guarantee you, even if he tears his ACL game, we still sign him. And he knows that.
He knows that.
Gosh, y'all are crazy.
You're crazy.
What a wild season. What a wild season where Cody Lashney becomes the person to do it for the Gipper or whatever. And now Tony Dunn is over here saying Bradley Bozeman should have been extended weeks ago. How about that? The Panthers should have extended him weeks ago. I've said that before.
Yes,
Lies.
You did.
Lies.
Can I ask a question to you, Tony? Are we the ones that crazy if all of us are on the same page and you're the one that's completely different?
Yeah.
You're the oddball. You're the old curmudgeon, dude. And listen, how much would he have lost this year? I just feel like it would be a financial thing. If you're saying that we need him no matter what, for him, his financial interest is to not get hurt in this final game.
Sure.
He's already proven it. So if you're going to protect somebody, if the Panthers are going to protect a player who is under contract by not playing them, right? So imagine if you had a quarterback who you believed in and you knew this game was meaningless today, you would not play him because you're trying to protect your asset, right? You are protecting something that matters to you. Well, Bradley Bozeman could protect his own interest, is what I'm saying. Why wouldn't he protect his own interest and say this?
Is it only because he's a free agent?
Tape. Yeah, he's about to be. Yeah, like if he gets hurt, it's like this. Is that for him? This is the moment. He's on a 1-year deal.
Would you think differently if Brady Christensen sat out today?
Well, first, he's under contract for more than 1 year. He's still got multiple years, I think, on his contract. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't know.
And you know what I'm saying? Like he has time. Like he would be giving up more than one game.
So you're saying it's just
I'm telling him to take a sick game so he doesn't get hurt.
But you're saying just because Bradley Bozeman stands to make a good chunk of cash in free agency.
Correct.
If you were him, you wouldn't have played today.
Correct.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree, man. I think
that's
he's
an
going out
NBA
there
problem
and play.
right there. To be honest with you.
No, I mean, like you were ready
Tony,
to do it for somebody that you want to protect because of your team interest. You want to protect players because of your team interest. You want to sit players, rest players. Hell, I would have not played DJ today. Hell, I would have not played. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this?
DJ was going for no. You had to play DJ. DJ was going for a thousand.
That's just sentimental, bro.
He was going for
That's
a thousand.
just sentimental. It's just
No,
sentimental.
dude, you have to. When you sign a contract, when you sign a contract to agree to to play 17 games in a year, you should meet your obligations.
No, I'm saying the Panthers should have stopped. You're not listening. You're not listening. I'm saying the Panthers should have not played DJ today. I'm not saying DJ shouldn't have said that. I'm saying the Panthers should have said, look, we are not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to do nothing. You're very important to our team. We paid $70 million for you or whatever it is. We need you next year, not this game. I would have not played DJ Moore today.
So pay him and don't play him? Give him
for
today. $1 million he makes today and don't play him?
Guys, I feel like, am I speaking a different language?
It sounds easy from a guy who's not paying the money.
Tony, they signed a contract to play 17 games.
You're not. You're making a weird. No, DJ Moore. You're wrong. You're wrong. They signed a contract to play a certain amount of years.
No,
so
they do. They get paid per game.
I understand that, but DJ Moore has a contract for 60 games. Bradley Bozeman has a contract for 17 games. I'm not saying DJ Moore should sit out. I'm saying the Panthers should sit.
You should play. No, and they're never going to. And for the same reason
I feel like
bad on players when they don't play in their bowl game. Reason why a team think bad.
All right. I must be living in a fucking.
So you know, I disagree with Tony here, but I think that's bullshit. That
maybe they should have just played. Maybe they should have played Tom Brady today to the end. That's my fucking point.
No, it's not.
But they have something else
at all. They're going into a playoff game. Why would you want to get hurt before your playoff game? There's a difference between two, dude. That's not even
the other part. The other part, Tony, is you got. The part of it that, because I mean, part of me was thinking the same thing. I was like, why would you not rest your starters? And kind of like why put them at risk? And now you have Brady Christensen, who might not even be able to play until halfway through the season next year because of
we have a higher draft or worse draft pick today.
Right.
Wow.
So
everything is fucking better. We got two important people hurt.
You got to keep in mind there's another part to this too, and that is if Bradley Bozeman is looking for a contract, for instance, right, and he tells the Panthers, I'm not going to play today, right, then that's going to be things that are going to be heard across the league. That's not going to be something that's just heard. Like, that's going to show very much a sense of selflessness, right, or selfishness. And I think that would be that's something that doesn't just stick in the Panthers organization. That's going to be told everywhere.
You know what? I think it's fucked up. I think
well.
excuse me, my kid just walked in and just dropped the F-bomb. I think it's fucked up that we got to give that argument to that player and say he didn't show enough, but then we can allow teams to be soulless ass bitches that cut people at every moment. So no, like I mean, I understand, like that's what I'm kind of asking here is would that PR hit? Imagine if you're the guy who has done enough to know that that team needs you, that other teams want you, and you just say this. Like, hey, my shit's on tape already. My neck hurts. You know what? I don't know. I think that PR hit would hit for 5 minutes. And then I think a team that needs a center that knows that was about $2 million would just be no. So you know what I'm tired of the whole, we want the teams need all this, and they're soulless creatures themselves.
Yeah. No, and you're not wrong, Tony. I want to make that clear. I mean, it's not there. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here, but we also don't know that Bradley Bozeman didn't want to play. Right.
No, I mean, I just don't know if what could he have done today ultimately that would have increased his stock.
Right.
Think about that.
Go out there. How about this? Go out there and battle with your teammates for a fucking W against your division rival. Oh, and that's right. That's what he did. You're accountable to your teammates as well.
The offensive line look like trash today? Okay.
We're also answering two different questions here, y'all. We're in this argument, we're answering two different questions. One is, should he do it? Like, is it right morally? Should he do it? The other is, does it hurt his stock if he does it? Like we're asking two different questions in this whole argument here. Like, I think that no, it doesn't hurt his stock, but no, I also don't think he should do it. Like I
think I would have called it.
Hold on. But look, no, Antonio, look, you're the one that started this, and don't get mad at me for dragging on further. If you go out there, hey, it might not be fair, but you don't know that the organization wouldn't hold it against you. Who cares that you're making a business move? You chose not to play and go out there with your teammates, and you chose to not get paid for it. So absolutely, dude, if you're both, dude, they would have down on the player that did that. By the way, what you're talking about, I don't know if any player has ever done that ever.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell sat out of the season. Oh, not the final game, but there have been players who sat out the whole fucking season.
And he got traded.
Look,
and made a bunch of money.
Look, 2 super chats, and then we're going to hit these calls. White Chocolate Espresso with the $1.99, he says, so should all starters play during the preseason? No, the preseason doesn't mean shit.
Oh, well, then today didn't either. Thank you, bro. Man, he wants to be my son.
Panther Blues with the $1.99 love bomb says, keep in mind, Bozeman wants to stay here. Yeah, he did the right thing by the team and for the team.
Let's say he did the wrong
thing. And I think that the team is going to reward him.
All right, next call.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
So
I'm excited about today's win. I was excited that we won. I know a lot of people probably wanted to come out here and lay over and get a better draft pick, but quite frankly, there's a lot of good players in the draft. There's a lot of fucking draft busts. You can draft at number 1 or number 30, and you can still get a bust. We weren't going to get a quarterback anyways. I personally want a defensive lineman or a linebacker. You know, I don't know what do y'all think about trading up for a quarterback? I don't think we should. I just think we should build the team. And the biggest thing I was rooting for today was Steve Wilkes. I mean, this team, I truly want Steve Wilkes to come back. And if you want him to come back, then you needed this team to come out and fight and play like they wanted Steve Wilkes to come back. And they absolutely did. The offense was terrible a lot of the game. I thought Sam Darnold, outside of those picks, really didn't play that bad. He did everything he could. He got out of the pocket. He was scrambling. And he threw it away. He didn't make, outside of those interceptions, he didn't make a bunch of terrible mistakes. I don't know why we keep snapping the ball early, but I thought this was a huge game for getting Steve Wilkes to come back because that defense played with a fire under them. They had some huge stops on 3rd down. They had a huge stop on 4th down. They had a huge stop right after the second Sam Darnold interception. And I thought it was huge that Sam, after that pick, bounced back, went right down the field, had a big run, big throw. And Eddie Pinheiro, another one of the biggest reasons I think Steve Wilkes is such a great coach. I mean, so many coaches would have just given up on Steve on their kicker and just cut him after a game like he had against the Falcons. But I think that really shows how good of a coach he is, the way we are able to let Eddie Pinheiro bounce back, because kicking is such a mental game, and he was able to get the team to rally around him. And I thought that was really special. And another question I have is, if Steve Wilkes does come back, do you think Ben McAdoo comes back as the offensive coordinator? It wouldn't be my favorite choice. I don't know how his relationship is with him, but I guess, do you think that Ben McAdoo should come back? And I thought today's game was huge. And do you think that this game solidifies or at least helps Steve Wilkes' case for getting the job? Because if they'd come out here and laid an egg, I'll tell you what, he definitely wasn't going to get the job. So I was pretty happy with today overall. Who do you think we should draft? Do you think we should trade up in the draft? Thank y'all for the podcast. I've been calling in a long time and never leave a name. I thought I was somebody else last time.
Yeah, we heard this
It's
one. Yeah.
Civil Peach. I'm going by that from now on.
I played the
Happy seasons, boys.
Yeah,
I'll
we
see you in
listened to the whole
So,
song. That
did
we
you
heard, the
mute
whole
me?
thing that
Why didn't
No.
you mute me?
Because
Shit,
I
you
didn't
should've
know
mute-
when you would even know when to come back, if you would even know it.
I had to take a leap. Oh my god. Sorry.
Play the right call, damn it. Don't
That was
blame
messed
me.
up, man. That really hurt my argument.
We love that call.
That was like me not playing the final game. Shit.
Or you
Hey,
missing the
guys.
game when it's field goal, right?
It's the growl that makes him howl,
Did we hear
aka
this
Joey
one?
the Blind Panther.
I know we
again.
heard one of his. I don't know about this one.
I got something to say.
You know he could.
Check this out, dude. Based on what Chuba Hubbard has been able to do ever since Steve Wilkes took over, and how he's he's been blossoming and stuff. You know what that means? That means that Matt Rule's wife is a better talent evaluator than Matt Rule. Why didn't we just let Matt Rule's wife be the interim head coach?
That's funny.
Wow!
Nice.
So
I
mad
mean,
at myself.
dude,
right
she probably,
after I make
there's
a
no
good
way she
point.
could have been worse. No.
Right after
Well,
I make
you
a
didn't
good
do-
point.
You didn't do that either, you know. So you're down
I'll say
bad.
Ouch. Dick.
Good's a matter of opinion, but yeah.
yeah.
What's going on? This is Jay Anderson hitting y'all up. Congratulations to Steve Wilkes. He got more wins than Matt Fool.
Hey.
The Panthers got more wins. What, that 5? Thank God. Well, I just got this one thing, man. Mike Shula is a better OC than Ben McAdoo, man. Ben McAdoo is not a good. I mean,
fucking good, bro.
The dude run play is just trash. I'm like, dude, what? You ain't got nothing but up the middle and a little to the right or something like that. Like, his run play call is bad.
A little to the right.
And I know, like I said before, like I said yesterday, people saying that Sam Darnold should be more aggressive with Sam Darnold. I know some people complaining that they ran the play 3rd and 9 and stuff like that. I'm like, Sam Darnold is not that quarterback that you can trust to throw the ball down the field. The man had 2 interceptions. He underthrows 2 balls to DJ. And it just, he made that great throw at the clutch, to get us in field goal range, but man, they better not break him back. I hope Steve Wilkes get the job, and I hope if he does get the job, I hope he get that quarterback coach from Philadelphia. I think he'll be a good offensive coordinator. Man, I just glad the season is over for them. They can really get down to business and really find the coach and do better for next year. All right.
All right. Thanks for the call, man. Let's keep going.
Jay.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier. Excuse my
What up,
voice.
G?
I got a mask on. I'm at work right now. Hey, man, 7-10, man. That was an ugly game. That was an ugly game. But, hey, I'd rather have an ugly win than a beautiful loss, man. And I'm glad this season is over, man. 7-10, man. You know what tomorrow is, fellas. Everybody know what tomorrow is. It's Black fucking Monday. Is Steve Wilkes alive? I don't know, man. I really want Hubbard to come to the Panthers. I ain't gonna lie, but we will see. But give me your thoughts on that, y'all. The season is over. It's draft time now, y'all. Keep pounding.
Interesting way of putting it too, right? Is while tomorrow is the day that we hear of all the coaches being fired, I don't think Steve Wilkes will technically be fired, will he? Like, will his just contract end as it is here, right? Interim coach. So, like, the Panthers can't come, they're not going to come out and say we fired Steve Wilkes, right? They technically haven't hired him to be the head coach, right? So tomorrow we're going to hear some names, but I think it's going to be names like Kingsbury. It's going to be names like potentially the Bears coach. Will they say they fired Jeff Saturday? How about that?
No.
Yeah,
I think you fired Jeff Saturday.
Right. Okay, that's what I was just trying to.
No,
I think there's a difference between not
his
firing.
contract's up at the end of this year.
That's like,
so he's not fired. He's just not re-signed.
That's like saying you fired Brian Burns if you don't re-sign him.
I just don't think like we're not going to hear Wilkes' name tomorrow.
Hey, I did want to bring this up. I brought this up earlier and we kind of glossed over it. So this year we were supposed, the Rams were going to trade for Brian Burns for next year's first-round draft pick. But now all the rumors is that Sean McVay is probably not going to be the coach next season.
Why?
So,
he's going to retire?
Going to go into the broadcast.
Yeah, and like it's people in the organization, or at least this is what they said on Fox NFL Sunday, that people in the organization feel like it would be more of a surprise if he did come back and coach next year.
I heard some people describe it as visible burnout.
Yeah, so my thing is, dude, if you're, again, we love Brian Burns, but we've been having this conversation does show out this moments possible. If they end up having a top 5 pick next year, and that could have been the Brian Burns pick, maybe, and if the quarterback class next year is better than this one, which I do think it is, did we pass up on a potential good opportunity to have a really high draft pick that we don't even have to, it's not even our pick?
Well, when did anybody think they were going to have a good pick? I mean, a bad pick. We all watched the Rams play this year. We even watched them at the trade deadline. They still stunk then. So this is like the same question about Brian Burns and the trade that's existed the entire time. It's just, here's the thing. We're not coming off a 2-sack game for Brian Burns. It's like it gets so, I won't say so annoyed because I love talking about this crap. That's why it's the longest running Panthers podcast on the intranet. But isn't this the same exact conversation? Right? Is Brian Burns a necessity for this team in the core? Or couldn't you add players in the fact? We could have had this same exact conversation. And it really doesn't matter if it's a 7 or a 12. What are the Rams picking right now, right? Really is. No, but again, Baker Mayfield going to them. Actually, imagine if we would have just kept Baker and stashed him on the practice squad, they would even be worse now.
Yeah.
Right, but remember, it's not this year; it's the year after, or it's not. Do
they not have one next year? They don't have one next year.
No. I'm saying they don't have one for. So if we would have traded Burns, they didn't have a first-round pick this year.
Okay, so they would have had to give their 24 and 5 up.
Right, which is where
Then I guess the answer comes back to exactly is that's too far in the future for it to really be that relevant. And unless you're not going to sign Brian Burns.
They have to, huh?
They have to now that they didn't make the trade, right?
Yeah.
You got to. If you don't, you look like a
you're just
team
dumb.
with egg on your face. Yeah.
And he's better every season than the last. I
don't even think those are questions, though. I think the question is this: is that if you let him walk and you didn't get assets for him, then you're the dummy. Right? And isn't this the kind of the similar conversation? We could go back to Curtis Samuel. We could go back to Cam Newton. And can we remind that we got more fucking trade capital for Taylor Heineke than we did for Cam Newton? Right? What did that do for this organization, just cutting Cam Newton? They could have at least traded Cam for a fifth. I mean, I would have been still irate and pissed as fuck. But think about the craziness. Thank you, Matt Fool. Thank you, Matt Fool, and all these cats for getting us more trade capital for Taylor Heineke than any of these other players that are valuable. So if they let Brian Burns walk, and I'm not the one that says he should be paid the most money in the world, theoretically. But now you got to. That's my point. We're back in a corner. We need Brian Burns more than he needs us. Numbers 252-228-5098.
Hey, C3. This is Panther fan 2222. Man, that was such a underwhelming, disappointing, most boring win that I think I've ever seen the Panthers have. But it's a win nonetheless, and that's what counts. Appreciate all y'all done this year. Can't wait for this off season. Honestly, till the end of that game and until that field goal went in, Wilkes looked defeated. And he looked like Rule did after the 49ers game. I really think all these reports coming out, they got to him, and he didn't want to be there today, and I don't blame him. But there's no telling what Tepper's going to do with their new coach, if he'll be our new coach or whoever. But I'm along for the ride. Lifelong Panther fan, always going to be, unless they move. And if they do, then fuck them. But until then, keep pounding. Appreciate all y'all do.
Call. This is a fantastic.
Can't wait to go over some of this draft stuff and start looking forward to the future. Y'all have a good afternoon.
I promise you this: if this team moves, this podcast is not following.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Hurricane.
Yeah, we're gonna change something. We're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna change sports. I promise you.
It's just gonna be me and Tony arguing about dumb shit.
No, we got to bring everybody back. We got to do a lot, but you're right. Hurricanes. We do need to keep the Carolinas in mind, but I don't even want to talk about that.
Hornets.
I do want to talk about briefly, and we mentioned it earlier about Wilkes' body language. As you watch Wilkes, is what he has been able to do. His biggest selling, it's not biggest selling point. The most admirable thing that he has done is taken chicken shit and turned it into chicken salad, like you said. A team that looked listless, a team that lacked all the things that Matt Rule tried to say that they were building in the background. And what Steve Wilkes took was a roster that was the same, if not worse. He has coached. Think about this. He's coached with less coaches. Right? Like, so when they fire these coaches, they haven't been just adding a bunch of assistants to come in. He has been working with a skeleton crew. Imagine that is like the last, you go into a restaurant. This restaurant is supposed to be the nicest restaurant in the world. How many of you seen come to your town, right? This nice restaurant. They put all this money into this restaurant, all these people, and they never ran a restaurant before. Right. And everybody's excited about this restaurant coming in. The staff ain't working together. Those restaurants go out of business. That restaurant that was going out of business took the line cook, maybe not a line cook, but like the manager of night shift or something, and said, hey, you got to take over this mess real quick. He fired half of the staff and they worked better. The food got better, the service got better, and the restaurant actually stopped losing money. They started making money. That is what Steve Wilkes did. That is what he did with this team. And as you saw him on the sideline, you saw he cared. And today, I'm not going to say he didn't care. That's not what I mean. But I think he's right. Did he realized today that whatever he did probably didn't matter? Isn't that a sad thing?
Probably. You're not in control of your fate at all, basically. Yeah.
That's a tough thing. I mean, I didn't want. I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't want to be there either.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting older too. It's like, you want to be able to do this while you still have the capability to do it.
He looked dejected. I don't know. Do you think he looked defeated, dejected? How did you guys interpret his look today?
Wait, do you know what's funny about Wilkes though? He kind of always has that look. Like I joked on Twitter the other night. He went to a Hornets game, and I put on Twitter
like he just wanted to go home.
Why does his face look like it's way past? Like he looked like
he's just like, God, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, he looks like he was ready. Like he doesn't really look like a. He kind of has that Ron Rivera thing to him, where he's kind of all strong.
I don't think he looked like that in a lot of our games, though. I think he looked 100 emotionally invested. And to make here's a dad joke for you or whatever. My son has been doing the swim team. I stupidly don't encourage your children to go onto the swim team.
Oh, it's tough. It's one of the toughest sports there is.
Oh, who cares how tough it is? You know who it's tough on? My ass.
Tough on Tony.
When I got to take them to swim practice at 6 a.m. Right. And so I was like, shit, why did I encourage this dude to take this sport where I got to get up early as fuck for no reason. But my son, so like you want to support your kids, right? You love your children. And he had a swim meet yesterday. The way swim meets are not meant to be spectator sports, right? They're just not designed. They're not in stadiums, right? So parents are all fucking crowded in this indoor pool area. People are bringing their family members. We're bringing our own chairs. It's over. And my son said this. He said there's going to be 2 or 3 extra teams at this meet than usual. And it's already crowded as you know what.
People
and so I'm
in the pool and
right. I'm taking him to the meet. He's like, well, he was like, well, you don't have to come if you don't want to. And I was like, well, I want to be a dad who encourages their son, but I don't want to go to swim. Like in my mind, I don't want to go to swim. What I want to do is be a dad who is a good dad for his kid, but I really don't want to go this fucking swim meet and sit half the time and read a book for 40 minutes as I wait for the next 7 events to happen, the next 8 heats. I felt like Steve Wilkes today was like me going to swim meet.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a good dad, but he didn't want to be at the fucking swim meet.
Yeah, I think he was ready to go. I think when you're at the end of the season, like right now, the Cardinals are getting thumped by the 49ers. And it's like when you're not in and your team is bad, yeah, you have to think after a full NFL season, coach or player, you're ready to fucking head to the
especially when you hear all the news about the Harbaugh stuff and this and that. The number is 252-228-5098. Only 2 more calls. We do. I guess what we should probably do is actually talk maybe 4 or 5 minutes about the game and some of the players. We'll do our dab on them, our towels of shame. So you can get last calls coming in right now, 252-228-5098.
Hey guys, I just want to throw my opinion on quarterback. Let me tell you something. If you think that you're going to hire a new head coach, likely a offensive coordinator who never has any experience being a head coach in the NFL, and you're going to tell him you're going to draft a quarterback in the top 10, and who may or may not be ready to start, and the only other guy on that roster is going to be Matt Corral, you're crazier, because ain't no NFL coach going to do that. Okay, now you can get a sucker like Matt Rule to do that, but you're not getting a real NFL coach to do that. Okay, so ask yourself, realistic options, who's going to be available for quarterback, and who will come here just because they like it here. Sam Darnold. You're not going to get anybody else to come here just because they like it here. So
you are paying them money.
Slow your roll, but that doesn't mean Sam's the future. That doesn't mean Sam's the heir apparent to nobody. That just means he's going to be a good backup for a couple of years. Okay?
that's not robbing Matt Corral, because Matt Corral compete for a job. Because right now, Matt Corral hasn't even earned the right to say he's a true NFL quarterback. And
Sam Howell has.
Let's remember something. We won that game today, but a backup offensive lineman got the touchdown, and a kicker kicked the game-winning 3 points to win the game. Y'all have a great day.
He's not wrong.
All right. He didn't win the game, nor did he lose the game. Hey.
Yes.
Next call.
Good Lord.
This is me, C-Dog, 1983.
What's up, C?
Man, a lot of takeaways from the season. Well, number one thing, Matt Rule got fired, so he finally got his trash ass the fuck out of Charlotte. Number one. Number two, Phil Snow ass up out of here. Number three would be McAdoo. You know what I'm saying? Even if Steve Wilkes is returning as head coach, I don't see Steve Wilkes bringing back McAdoo.
I agree. Get rid of him.
And after what we've seen today, I don't want to hear no more about Sam Darnold. He isn't it. We need this goddamn keep him as a goddamn cheap ass backup and goddamn let Matt Corral start like the 5th game next season. Shout out to the whole C3 podcast. Whenever you come in here, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hey. They got the Tuesday shows. They got the Friday free for all, and we got the Sunday shows,
simulation
preview and after show. But anyways, shout out to goddamn G Baby, the motherfucking GOAT. You know, but I am kind of happy because you know. We haven't had meaningful football in a long time, and nobody's seen us making the playoffs after Matt Rule got fired. And Steve Wilkes won 7 games without the cap free, and he started 1-5. You know, so big props. Shout out to goddamn Steve Wilkes. I wanted him to get see what he can do with his own off season. And the draft of the players he want to bring in and build his defense up like he wants to keep pounding the mantra. Besides that, I really can't complain, man.
That's my favorite.
I really can't complain, you know. But
yeah, you can. We've been complaining all season.
Maximize our draft picks, and if we can, we need to draft Cam Smith from South Carolina, J.C. Horn teammate. And if we can, get that middle linebacker from Oregon, because we got 2 second-round picks. So we can get both of them in the 2nd round or 3rd round, so I would be real happy, you know. But I hope everybody had a great Sunday.
Was that it? Must be. G, you're the man, dude.
So.
Appreciate
I
it.
prematurely cut it off. I'm sorry, G, if I did. C-Dog,
You probably did.
No, shut the fuck
up.
Dude, are we really at this point? The final game of the season? This is where we're at, Cody. Really?
Yeah, I mean, dude, this is where we're at. You know, we're here.
Drama, dude.
Drama, and you're wrong about Eddie Pinheiro, and you're wrong about Chuba Hubbard, and you're wrong about Bozeman not playing the last game, and you know, you're just wrong. We still love you. You're great. We love you forever.
Guess where you're at?
Podcast. Where?
4th Pain now.
Oh, really?
I
You gonna be like that?
Yeah, because man,
Guess
how
where
we
you're
fight
at?
this?
You're podcast, dude. I vetoed you. You're no longer here. There's no more Tony, y'all. Sorry. I don't even know where he went. Yeah. How long do you think I'm gonna have to bring him back in, or do you think he'll put himself back in? Oh, you're gonna make me do it? Oh, you bastard! Fine.
Yep, and move me back to my spot, motherfucker. Thank you.
Jerk.
No, not even. Wow, you know what is first of all, I don't ever get mad in the long term about any of this. First of all, I love that we have a diversity of opinions. Like, or else this would be the it wouldn't even be. I mean, first of all, it might be the most boring podcast there is. Maybe not the most, but definitely not the most entertaining one. But if we all shared the same opinion, it would not be better. So I do love that. We all are disagreeing. I'm surprised at this point in the season, after this season, that we have viewed it differently. And maybe let me ask this. Maybe ask it. Maybe instead of assuming how you have viewed it, it is the final post-game show. The Panthers have won this at the last moment after getting bludgeoned, honestly, beat up for the entire game. Sam Darnold made like one play, that put them in field goal range. No, I mean, like literally. And actually, I thought his best play, he made some great plays. They were just throwing the ball out of bounds as his line just let people go after him. But this game was we won. It was an ugly win, right? I mean, if you believe otherwise, then you're just silly. What are your feelings about this season at the end? Like, how do you see as this final post game comes? And again, I started with this stupid thing of this, like, how bizarre this game was. Was this a win or loss? And I don't want it to be an either or. How do you interpret the ending of this season? Because I saw Darnold could blow up on this dude. I was like, oh shit, maybe I'll get excited about him. And the guy goes, well, that's what you do when a tight end's blocking. I was like, shit, he ain't even going against an offensive lineman.
He just had to steal your joy.
Right. So where are you in what has, to me, been a roller coaster of a season of enjoyment? It's been an exciting one, but where are you after this game today in the final post game season? I don't know. You guys fucking ask the questions.
Look, we didn't end up the way that we wanted to, but
did we end up differently than you expected us to? Greg, do you have the note?
No.
Do you know what we say we were gonna be?
Me and Greg did work out that we think they are our predictions from when, unless you found the updated one.
You guys all had positive predictions. I think I was the only person that had them under 500 on this podcast.
This is pre Baker Mayfield trade. I had him at 11-6. Cody had him at 11-6. CK had 10-7, and Tony, you were 8-9.
Not far off.
You were the closest, Tony. Yeah, you were the closest. 8-9.
I thought I was
in the playoff.
What was the? I thought Greg and I made a bet that we wouldn't be. They wouldn't make 6. Was that last year? I said they wouldn't make 6 games. Somebody owes me $5.
By the way, when I made that,
I'll give you $5. I don't know.
Sam would get benched for Matt Corral, and Matt Corral would have an offensive rookie of the year type season. That's what I was hoping for when I made those picks, but that didn't fucking.
Well, I mean, it's like we didn't ask what you were hoping for. We asked what you thought the end of the season was going to be. Oh, I saw this. CK, this is messed up. I love the internet always takes shots at all of us, just like you guys take shots at the old man here. Some guy in the YouTube comment said, how about that dude that didn't take that 110% payout on the Panthers?
I know, right?
And that's what he said. I was like, damn. We told him to go for the big money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We should have won that game last week too, though.
Yeah.
Think about
Honestly,
that.
if we had won that game, I might have.
Today would be 100. Would they have still given it to you?
Oh yeah, they would have. If we had won that game,
would have gone up.
It would have gone up. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, big time.
No, imagine how different this would have been today. All right, let's just look back briefly over the game. What stands out to you? I mean, we didn't talk about the game at all. We just kind of talked about the circumstances of the Panthers. They gave up gashing. That got gashed on the ground by Alvin Kamara early in this game.
Yeah.
Defense continues to look bummy. All right, not great. I don't know. You guys tell me. What did you think about? I mean, give me some specifics about the game. Something other than us just arguing theoretically about this team. What you saw in the final week. Did you see any players that potentially you wanted to see some development out of that showed something out? What did you think about this game?
Well, I can say realistically, although the defense didn't play great, they didn't play bad. I mean, we let an opening drive up in the first drive of the game, and then we held the team scoreless the rest of the game. Now, granted, there were 2 missed field goals, but that means we at least held them out of the end zone for the rest of the game. So as bad as we want to give the team for this credit, they held this team to 7 points. Like,
what did you think about the play?
The defense didn't play bad. Sorry.
Well, don't apologize because you're making a great point. But when you're talking about that, what about the Andy Dalton missed? They could have had like a 70-yard touchdown, Andy Dalton to the other quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but that happens every game. How many times have we said Cam Newton or Baker Mayfield or Darnold had a guy wide open downfield, didn't even see him? I mean, it's part of the game.
Bro, the Washington Commanders are up 20-6. Sam Howell's out there dealing, and people in here saying Corral better than Howe.
He is.
Wow.
He didn't get the opportunity to show it, but he is. You're not going to sit there and tell me that Howell's a better player than Matt Corral. I will not stand for it. I won't stand for anybody. I don't ever stand.
Dak Prescott is garbage.
Matt Corral is the fucking guy, and he's just.
And how wild is it that the the Commanders.
Yeah, what's them racial slurs?
Man, all right.
I'm just fucking joking.
The fact is that all right. So one of the things is we went into this game, and while we're searching for something as like a specific to talk about the game, which I do want to talk about why Terrace Marshall Jr. is not a bigger part of this team right now. As we sit there and look at that, we have been looking ahead of this week. Ron Rivera missed out last week. He said he didn't even realize that their team was about to be eliminated from the playoffs, and they're sitting here beating the Dallas Cowboys in week 16. This is a big deal, right? It sucks. How about this? We won. Is there something different? Is there anything different today about the Panthers winning this game and the Commanders? The Commanders are going out there and smoking a team that's about to go into the playoffs.
Well, yeah.
We barely won against a team who's not going to playoffs, but guess what? We're still hurting our prospects for next year. Is it a Pyrrhic victory, I think they call it?
That's why I say that he's wrong, that we should have kept Ron Rivera. Because what was it last week against the Browns? Is that, they put Carson Wentz back in the lineup instead of Taylor Heineke. But what was one of the criticisms we always had of Ron Rivera? He would never play his young players enough. And look at Sam Howell right now. If they would have
Let's
gone
talk
with
about
the young
that
guy
today with our team.
A little bit earlier, maybe they would be in a better position than they are now. And I honestly am bringing it to our team. That's why I think a lot of people have a lot of trepidation about Steve Wilkes going forward, because like it or not, he has this kind of old school mentality attached to him. So, you might be thinking, how about this? We had a very similar situation.
Mays. That's what I was setting you up. I was setting you up. I was trying to lob you the softball, baby.
Yeah, no, let me do it. I hate it. Fucking when Steve Wilkes puts in Michael Jordan at left guard instead of Cade Mays, why are you not using this opportunity to get your rookie players some legit film to know what they need to work on and to know if they're going to be able to play meaningful football for you next year?
Let's play Josh Norman.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy to me, man. You have to play your young players.
I can agree with you to a certain point, but when Michael Jordan was the only touchdown we had today, I can't say it's for this specific argument.
Could have gotten that
this
too.
Specific argument,
you can't.
I can't say that.
I know.
He fell on a fumble. He
was the worst player and made the best play of the day.
Right.
The worst play. A broke clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
Dude.
He was so bad.
Yeah,
and if you could.
Bad.
He was, and you know what? I didn't even have a problem against him until certain people continued to tell me how bad Brady Christensen was because of this guy. And I was like, what the fuck? Who? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even hate him. And I don't even hate him, but he's been terrible the whole time.
Yeah.
And I do believe this. I'm not a expert football fan, not a football expert. I just use the eye test. I feel like he's too tall to be a guard. Right? Is that, you know what I'm saying? I feel, isn't being super tall, like 6'6" or whatever, isn't that helpful when you're a tackle and you got long arms? But being a guard, you want to be pad level, which maybe I'm using. Right. You want to get and isn't it harder for a guy who is 6'7" to do that against Aaron Donald, who is 6'3"? Right? Is like, I don't want him to be tiny. I'm not saying, but I don't know if that's the best attribute for him. I feel like he's built, but it's kind of like when people said, who was that guy that we traded to the Dolphins or went to the Dolphins who was a second round pick?
Oh, fucking Greg Little.
Right. When they said put him at guard, and A, you said he didn't have the mentality for being a guard, but B, his skill set doesn't lend towards him being a guard.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's just how I feel with Michael Jordan. I didn't even hate on him, but he was just terrible the whole time. He's just running around and falling everywhere. He looked like a clumsy giant.
Yeah, and by the way,
he looked like a baby gazelle or some shit.
But this is what drives home the point, though. If you're Steve Wilkes, you already know who Michael fucking Jordan is, and so do other people on this team, like James Campen. Usually, and okay, if it wasn't for Corbett going down, we wouldn't have ever seen Cade Mays. So eventually, we did see Cade, but still, why not use that opportunity to put in Cade Mays and see what he can do and evaluate your young talent? Games like this, where you're not playing for the playoff, dude, this is the perfect time for those games. I was saying last year when we were out of the playoffs that we needed to play Brady Christensen and see what we had in him. And we damn near never did that until it was too late.
You know what the sad part about this is, though? The sad part about this is that Cade Mays is the only name on this team, really, we could have said that about. We should have been thinking Amari Barno. We should have been thinking Barno the whole time. What I'm saying about this, and we did see Barno in there for a minute, isn't it sad that we don't have 3 or 4 names back queued up maybe on the defense?
I mean, we had Brandon Smith before they put him on IR.
Oh, is that what? Oh, he's on. Okay.
I'm pretty sure they put him on IR.
That would have been great. Like, where are those names? All we can say about that, we can get upset about it, and Cade Mays is the only freaking guy.
What about Higgins?
I mean, they kind of do. If you think about it, they've got pretty much all their backups in there. You have a pretty heavy rotation on the defensive line with Hoskins, YGM, Marquise Haynes, Ioannidis, like Henry.
Ioannidis is a vet, though. Right. Ioannidis was a free agent vet. Like, you want some young guys. Who's the exciting guy that we all like Cody, like Shy Smith?
I was gonna say Shy Smith.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we have a host of like guys, but I think they're all pretty much getting opportunities somewhere. I think the biggest thing has been injuries. Like, if you look at our draft this past year, it was we had Matt Corral, and he's gone for injury purposes, and we had Brandon Smith, he's out for injury purposes. Amari Barno was luckily in there.
Did Chen play today? I hope not. I didn't hear. He did. Yeah, and we didn't hear his name one time.
No, we did. He made a good play actually on a third down stop. He was able to.
Yeah, he had he had like one big stop today.
Did Luvu get the record?
I don't know.
Luvu, I know he had one tackle for loss. I saw him make one tackle for loss. Did Luvu? He had to get 3 to tie TD.
I don't think he did.
I don't know. I was like, I wish we had more, but you're right. Is who are like we already had those in. I guess I had just kind of forgot about these names. Like Barno. The first time I thought about Barno since July was today. I wish we would have had Brandon Smith in there today. That would have been fun to see something like that.
The Carolina Panthers never get the most out of their rookies. Never. When you look at other teams that, like, they'll draft players in the 5th or 6th round that come on to become a starter, like, that normally never happens for Carolina. Because we don't give we depend on free agents, even if they've proven to be trash. We can go with their experience over the rookie that doesn't have as much. And to me, it's like that's a waste of evaluating the players on your football team.
I just don't think we have enough exciting young players at this point, which is sad given the fact that we're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Terrace Marshall Jr. Today, big play. Right?
Yeah,
very
that's a
important
big
play
drop
for
in the
this
first
team.
quarter,
You know
yeah.
what? You guys want to say that Panera lost. I mean, I would say Terrace Marshall Jr. won this game for us today by making one big play that did this. My question about him, and it's not about him, as I don't understand why he's just not a bigger part of the game plan. Week in, week out. Like, I feel like this is a guy, if I was scheming shit up, is that you got DJ Moore out there who's Mr. Consistent, can run around, can create disruption, can do some things. Terrace Marshall Jr. is a big possession receiver that also has a downfield threat. I don't know enough about these players to make comps crazily, but I think he could be the worst. Like, his floor should be Brandon LaFell. His ceiling could be Masim Muhammad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a good comparison. And by the way, when you mentioned Terrace Marshall Jr., that's another credit you have to give to Wilkes for getting the most out of him when Matt Rule fucking never would play that guy.
Yeah, I feel like Marshall's like lack of production has less to do about him and more to do about a team that isn't interested to just figure out how to get the most out of somebody. Like, it's just like, hey, you can do this. You're going to do this or you're not going to do it. But I feel like you're sitting there. Why would you? My son goes to this private school and they're small. They're so small. They don't even play 11-on-11 football. They play like 7-on-7 or something. But they have this dude who is like 285 pounds who can run. Like, he's fast. Yeah. Like, he's a fast big boy. And they made him a running back.
Wow.
It's so messed up. It's like messed up. Like, they just, like, these poor kids, no one can tackle him. He's a senior. He's so big and he moves. It's like trying to tackle who was not Michael. Who do we have that everybody loved who was a smasher? Tolbert.
Yeah.
He's like a little Tolbert. Like, he should probably be like an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle or some shit. But he can move in a league that's kind of just built like, hey man, just hand it to him.
Yeah.
But imagine looking at that guy and being like, nah, just sit over there. Like, oh, we don't like this. You can either run a go route or you got to sit on the practice squad. Why didn't they make Terrace Marshall Jr. more? And maybe that's just silly at this point because it's a failed thing. But really, maybe this is just supplementing what you were saying, Cody. Is Terrace Marshall Jr. just feels like a good ingredient over there as a chef. You have a nice, fresh something to use in a dish, and you're like, nah, I'm just going to make the same dish I usually make, mac and cheese.
Yeah, to me, it's lazy. It's bad talent evaluation. And remember, he was hurt at the start of the season, and they kept on saying, remember there was that weird Matt Rule interview where he was like, I don't know, he's just got to, like, Matt Rule kind of put it on
better.
Terrace
He
Marshall
said he's got to
Jr.
practice better.
Yeah. And like, what the fuck does that mean? Are you not playing him or is he hurt? Again, it just shows his poor leadership. But this year, how about this? There are a few players this year that gave me hope for their future and what they can be long term.
He's one of them.
Absolutely. And then Brady Christensen is another one. Another thing, with our final game of the year, we have to mention, looking back on this season, this is the first year that Brady Christensen ever played in his life. Okay, he never played it at BYU, and he never played it the previous year in the NFL. I mean, other than a few snaps here and there. But this was his first year legit playing guard. And I think that he was really damn good. And it's
Dallas
so good
didn't
in
get
pass
it.
protection.
Dallas
I don't
didn't
know.
get
It's
it.
pretty close, man. I'm sitting here watching. That's
It's
pretty
short.
close.
They're
It's
short.
close.
And then the final two people that I think that took a big step forward this year, I think Chuba Hubbard. I don't give a damn if you all want to fucking cry about it. Cry
I'm not
about it.
gonna
I don't
argue
give a
about it
shit.
anymore. I'm
Chuba
done.
Hubbard.
A big step forward. You're saying a big step forward.
I think he took a step forward where
Well, now he's changing his team.
where he wants to, where he's going to be able to play meaningful football for us at the running back position next year. He's going to be playing for us next year, and we're going to give him the rock. So I'm impressed with him. And then Terrace Marshall Jr. That elite speed downfield. Yeah, dude. He's fast, he's big, he's strong. And he's just absolutely what you want in a receiver. And he's the type of player.
Greg, what's this gonna do to the standings if the Cowboys lose? Real quick, I'm just watching the Cowboys game. What's going on in the NFL? We're gonna get out. We're almost done. There's no more calls, so we'll just make our tally shame. But
I think because the Eagles won and because the Vikings won, that it doesn't change anything. That whether they
the Eagles won today.
Well, they're winning right now. They're not up 19-9 in the fourth.
Who was the is Minshew the quarterback? Please say yes. Or did they start Hurts?
Jalen Hurts is active.
Yeah.
What's the score? What's the score and who are they playing? Give us a rundown, stat daddy, of what's going on in the NFL right now.
I know that right now Philly's up 19-9. I know that Dallas is down 6-23 in the fourth.
Yep.
And they just missed the fourth down.
The Chargers are up. No, the Chargers are losing to Denver 31-20. Does that do anything to the standings, Cody, for your boys? That's a good question. Seattle and the Rams are tied. If Denver beats the Chargers, Denver is winning right now.
No, the Chargers are in the playoffs no matter what happens.
I know. I didn't ask if it gets them out or not. Does it change their standing? Like, is there are they invested at all? I don't know enough about it. Seattle and Rams are tied. San Francisco is beating the dog shit out of Arizona 38-13. It's the Cliff Kingsbury fired game. And those are the games going on right now.
Everything's locked up. Actually, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Chiefs are number 1 in the AFC. Bills 2, Bengals 3, Jags 4, Chargers 5, Ravens 6, Dolphins 7.
The Chargers are in the AFC.
That's what I'm saying, AFC. That's all locked up. NFC, Eagles are 1. If they win, Eagles are 1, Vikings 2, Niners 3, Bucks 4, Cowboys 5, Giants 6, and that's locked up.
What happens if the Cowboys lose today?
It doesn't matter.
Nothing.
They have a better record than the Giants, and they'll stay in the number 5.
If they won and someone else lost, would it help?
No, if they won and the Eagles lost, then they would take the number 2, they would take the number 1 spot.
Really?
Because they beat the Vikings.
But they don't move from a 3 to a 2 in the.
No, so they can go. Well, the only way you can get a 2 is if you win your division. 1 through 4 are the division winners, so they can either win the wild card or win the division. And if they win the division, they win the number 1 seed.
Okay, so they're the best wild card.
They're the best.
And there's 3 wild cards.
Yeah, in each division or each
who's the third one in the NFC?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was wrong. No, I'm sorry. Seattle still has a chance to get in as a number 7 seed. They're fighting with the Lions and the Packers right now, and I guess it depends on. I don't know what it depends on.
Who is the third seed for each one?
Third seed is the Niners for the NFC and the Bengals for the AFC. But the AFC is locked up. Like there's no more.
How are the Niners that? What is their record? I feel like the Niners have been so good.
Niners 12-4. They've won the Niners 12-4, but the Vikings won.
Got to be the first wild card then. If they're 12-4, they're higher than the Giants and the.
No, but the Niners won the division.
Oh, okay. So they're not
number 3. They won the division, but they're 1 game behind the Vikings.
What are the 3 wild cards? Tell me that. Excuse me.
And can I just tell y'all this? Though
Cowboys,
the wild card game that I'm looking forward to the most is one of the ones right off the bat. The Chargers are going to Jacksonville. So Justin Herbert and the Chargers versus Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Y'all know that. Y'all know I'm looking forward to that game.
Right
Tell
now,
me the 3 wild card teams for each.
Okay, so in the AFC,
conference.
it's locked in as the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Dolphins in that order. And in the NFC, it's locked in as the Cowboys.
How are the Dolphins? The Dolphins made it. Did they win
won
today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now in the NFC, it's locked in as the Cowboys and the Giants 5-6, and it's either Seattle, the Lions, or the Packers at 7, depending on how the rest of today plays out. Tomorrow plays out.
Say it again. Seattle,
the
Lions.
Lions, or the Packers, depending on how today and tomorrow plays out.
Wow.
So, but there's only one.
Any thoughts on that? Because Seattle, who do you think should be who do you want to be the one?
Lions.
Really?
Just because of the story. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers come back and make the playoffs after his asshole.
I feel like I must
be
be evil. I must have evil in me. I want the Packers to be it.
I just don't like Aaron Rodgers' moxie, man. Like I used to, but now it's coming off as like asshole. Like before it came off as like cool guy. Now it's coming off as like you're a dickhead. Like you want the most money, whether you perform the best or not.
They just came back from 1-7.
Yeah, I know.
Hey guys, hold that thought. I've got to interrupt you.
Breaking news.
Because Michael Davis is the man, dude.
Awesome.
With the $35 love bomb. You know we love you, Michael. He says, guys, I really enjoyed watching this season with you all. Really good job at the podcast. Looking forward to the off season with my C3 family. Keep pounding.
He's been the patron saint. He's a patron saint. I'm Catholic, so we're big into saints and what Cody would call superstition.
Cody would call that charity drive for us, didn't he? Michael Davis came through big time.
He makes it, man, the patron saint. Today this is for you Protestant and atheist people or any other one. Today is it's a saint veneration of. It's a blessed house day, so they have these 3 saints, and you put chalk on your doorway, and did it
so
today.
We're putting chalk
on your
doorway.
I did today. I did. I'm a Catholic, and it's a saint, and Saint Bartholomew. I'll look it up too, and it's like you have to put this equation up there. But we're crazy Catholics. That's why. I'm crazy Catholic, but. You always call me superstitious. You call it superstition. I call it belief, baby.
Religious.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, that's what that is.
That's exactly what it is. I love that. Also, can we talk not talk about it, but the Dolphins, as tomorrow comes about the Black Monday, as somebody said earlier. I think G was the one that mentioned it. I even heard that the Dolphins guy was in jeopardy.
Dude, that's my number one.
Which I think is fucked up.
Yeah, I want him. I wish he was our head coach.
Me too. And I want to take
the young guy with the glasses, the hipster looking guy.
Yeah, the
guy who we almost smoked weed with.
Yeah.
I'm down.
No, but I mean, with that, is there any? And I don't think that's going to happen. How about this? What would be more far-fetched is if the Bears coach got fired or the Dolphins coach got fired.
Dolphins coach. Because the Dolphins.
I agree with you.
It would be more surprising.
Which they should. I mean, they did back into the playoff. What's their record again?
9-8.
And they started out 5-0.
Yeah. No, I don't think they started off 5-0, did they?
They were fucking killing it.
They were hot at the beginning of the season, but I don't think they started off 5-0. But I'm not sure. But either way, 9-8 gets you in the playoffs. That's crazy.
If they wouldn't have won today, would he have been on the hot seat?
Yes, I think maybe that is a situation more than Steve Wilkes of a win or loss affects your job in the future.
All right. Man, I'm out of stuff to talk about. I just want to hang out with you guys. So we should just do the towel of shame and let CK probably go into his family.
People wanted us to do an extra long show anyway. But no,
it's not even an extra long show. This is a short show. And I mean, like, what else am I mean, it's the last post-game show. I'm not going to hang out with you guys till Tuesday.
Yeah.
We went down near 3 hours. That's close.
Right. But
over 3 hours.
Do you? Okay. I'm just sad.
Let me see the.
No, we are. Right.
Right now
it's not even about the season. It's about this. Do you know how fun these shows are for all of us?
Yeah, it's like
And
your
we
last
didn't
study hall
have
of senior
30
year.
calls tonight. By the way, we only had like 10 calls. This might have been one of the least called shows of the whole season. I deleted at one point, and this is wild because when I first started this podcast, I was very wary about starting to call voicemail because I didn't want to advertise calls and no one call. And that was like, I was like, guys, that's going to make this look so dumb when there's only 8 people watching each week. You know what I'm saying? Like, is like, and I just figured out how to try to do it. And I deleted and I went into the voicemail. You know, I don't delete shit, Cody. Because I gave Cody the Google Voice one time, and he looked at it and he was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I was like, do you not
he
see?
never deletes any of them. Like,
But do you not see bold versus like bold and unbold? But I went through and deleted something like 145 calls from December. Think about that. And we skipped the post-game show. And then I deleted this. Like, it's been wild about how, like, if you could just be in my seat when I was scared. I actually had people, I planted calls. I had my friends, I forced my friends to call. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you have to call, bro. I need you to do this for me. And made them call. And now I'm deleting 145 calls in 2 and 3 weeks.
Now you're hoping that we don't get more calls at the end of a Tuesday show to prolong it and make it go any further.
I'm so sad. I don't want to end this show right now. I'm telling you, man, this post game. And you know what? And I'm going to end my point with this. I'll let you guys take the reins. Today, I don't know if I really watched the game like I usually watch the game. And what I mean by that is I watched this game with kind of like this is the end.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a win or it's a loss. I wasn't hanging on everything. It was more about when it was over would be the sad part than a single play was the sad part. So this has been a great season for us. And the post-game show has been popping, and I want to hang out with y'all forever.
You know, also, so for the free-for-all, kind of similar how you were telling friends to call in, I have a Twitter chat with all the normals that always come on the Friday free-for-all, right?
So exhausting, probably. I bet you it's exhausting.
I've got Anthony, I've got Pickle, I've got Drew, I've got White Chocolate. Dude, that chat is lit, right? But I started posting a link whenever we want to upload something on StreamYard. I made this little side room so that way we could upload like new bumpers that Greg made or whatever. And I've just been, for the past, I don't even know, like 2 months now, we just go into the C3 Man Cave. We go into the C3 Man Cave, and I just share my YouTube TV, and we've been watching the fucking game every Sunday, man. And it's just for the diehard C3 fans, So it's been fun. If you don't get a chance to go to a game, I'm watching it with the homeboys every Sunday.
Better. I hate to say it.
Is
Do you feel guilty about that? I feel so guilty about this. I would rather sit in a room and watch this game with y'all on TV than I would go to it.
I agree.
Yeah, dude, it's way more
Beer's
fun.
cheaper. I don't got enough home.
I know. I feel so guilty about that shit. I feel so guilty. I'm like, oh, we can't go to the game. I got to do a post game. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Dude, maybe next year we can do a few more in-person post games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be cool too.
Maybe we'll grow enough over the off season to where we can like get C3 season tickets.
That would be fucking.
You know what is? I was thinking about this. I do feel like we're probably hitting a point where we could argue for press passes. And you know what? They told, all right. So I applied one time. They gave this is all right. So here we'll end this and we're going to go to the tell of shame unless you guys need to talk. But this is funny. So when I first started this podcast, I didn't start this as a podcast. Originally, this started as a podcast and a website. and CarolinaCatChronicles.com was trying to, it's like, but then this is turned to be the better conversational medium for someone that doesn't, like have a million writers and things. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a different way. But, Charlotte Vibe has press credentials and he's independent, right? And so there was a point where the media, first of all, like when you apply for press credentials, I'm guessing when you apply for it, it was the Charlotte Observer, it was the radio station. So think back 2010, 2009, 10, 11, 12, before live broadcasting was a thing, before podcast, any of that was really normal. They called something like Charlotte Vibe or ourselves as we were getting started. They called it independent media, right? You're not part of a corporation. And when I applied, that makes it sound funny. Like there's an application. You just have to send an email to their media department. And the lady this was probably 2014, I think, or the beginning of 2015. She said, we don't give credentials to independent media right now. And I was like, well, I know Chris Jenkins got some, but he's been doing it longer than I. So, I mean, it's not like I was trying to make a big deal. I was like, all right. But in 2014, I think, or 2015, this one kid maybe it was 2016, this kid was writing for us, and I cannot remember his name off the top. He's cool as shit. He did not live around any, but he wrote a couple of articles for CarolinaCatChronicles.com, which are just opinion pieces, editorials. But he went to, and it was the year after or the same year that they said that they wouldn't give us credentials. And he just showed up at the press camp, not press camp, at training camp. And he said he wore a Panthers polo, like one that he bought like from the team store. So it just had the real logo. And he said, I'm here for C3 covering this. And they gave him press credentials and they let him out to the field. This was early. I swear this was 2014 or 2015. But what I'm trying to say is we probably could and theoretically could be included in that.
And dude, you guys know because you've been to my house. Like I can go on my porch and spit on the stadium.
Yeah.
You
need to be R. I'm telling, if I was going to send one person to go to the post games, to any press conference, I would send you. I would send you
the best questions, dude.
Channel your inner who? Who would I tell you?
Like, don't ask that guy.
Who would I tell you to channel?
No, my inner Dave Newton.
Yes, thank you. See, we've made up already.
Dude, me and Dave, we would be one hell of a duo. Just asking off the wall shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, but at the same time, I don't know. Have you ever been? I went on this stadium tour of Bank of America, and if you go into the press conference, like you're not allowed to have emotion. If you're in the press in the booth, like you have to be. I don't even know if I want to be in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be like this. You got to be like poor David Newton's over there, like having to tweet, misspell everybody's name, and have no emotion. I don't know. I'd rather probably just sit here with y'all and watch the game.
It's fun, dude. It's so fun. What do you say we do our final?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Our final towel of shame and of the 2022 season. Ain't that a shame? And it is. So we're gonna get them towels of shame. Towel of shame. Tony Dunn, lead us off.
This is the part of the show where we kind of just call out the worst play, worst person, whatever you guys want to throw the cold, wet towel of shame on. And to be honest, I don't have a super guilty party in this one.
Oh, I do.
And I'm probably unprepared. Oh, I got it. This is gonna get us canceled.
Oh boy.
Cancel it.
Don't do it.
No, it's
We
so
just
bad.
we just got a fan base, dude.
I
Don't
know.
cancel
I'm
this.
about to end it. Is there any irony? All right, so what did we hear for the last week or whatever? It's DeMar Hamlin, right?
Right.
Yes.
All we have heard is people shame people for not having enough empathy or care or whatever it is. We've heard the super camaraderie of the world that has locked arms together behind somebody's a tragedy. It's a straight tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not want to diminish it at all. But then the one thing, though, that's been wild is the religious impulse by a lot of people who have had a giant, like they religious shame people for not caring enough, maybe, or something like this. And like you have people praying on whatever, and if you know what I'm saying, like, and I'm Catholic, I'm Christian, so I believe in what I believe in,
right?
But I ain't trying to. Anyway, is there any irony in that DeMar Hamlin as a kickoff return for a touchdown? Amazing, wonderful, wild. Does anybody know what he tweeted?
No, what did he say?
Yesterday or
no, as they returned the touchdown.
Oh no.
OMF.
OMFG. That's funny, dude.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not funny as everybody has religious locked arms, and then you use the actual thing that you shame and believe in vain. And I say curse words all the time, but is there any irony?
It doesn't matter. We're all sinners, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, dude.
Is there no irony in you being a moment where you said all right, how about this? If I scored a touchdown, and then you came up to me with a microphone and I say, I give it all up to God. Right? And then I walked off and stubbed my toe and said GD. Is there no irony in that?
Yeah, but
like you saying, okay, that's it. That's my towel of shame. My towel of shame is using the Lord's name in vain while everybody has shamed everybody for not caring enough, and then use their religious prayers and prayers up and all of this. And I'm religious. I went to church this morning. I'm just not trying to shame you with my own religion.
Do you feel like it's sort of like I've done this before? I did this recently. Talking to somebody and now like in church, and they'll say something that I agree with, and I'll be like, hell yeah. I'm like in church, saying
right,
yeah.
right. Is there? And look, as somebody said in the chat, he said he didn't say it, but actually he did say GD because he spelled it. Like he literally spelled GD. So you're right. So you're even what do you call abbreviating what you want me to say. I'm not upset. I say that crap all the time, bro. I am. What I'm just saying is there any irony?
I mean, of course, but there's irony in every aspect of religion, isn't there?
Okay.
Couldn't you say the same thing for 90%?
That's my towel and shame of a lot of irony when I just really don't like people guilting. And he didn't do this. I'm not saying he guilted anybody, but for the last, and I didn't even see this today, is supposedly I saw a clip. I didn't even press play about like Strahan's message to Skip Bayless. I haven't, and supposedly he said something on the like addressed it. I don't even care. What I'm saying is this: is the most guilt I feel in my life is about myself, and I don't need to shame none of y'all with all of this. And it's just the irony of people who will smash other motherfuckers all day long and then stub their toe and do the same thing. And I'm not saying he did that, but it just made me think about it. That's my talent thing.
I'm gonna do my towel of shame.
Me off. I told you I'm a mess.
What?
I'm such a mess today. It's the end.
My towel of shame is going to be very short, very sweet, very simple. I'm not going to put it on one single player in this game at the end of the year. I'm not doing it. I'm putting it on Rat Mule. That's right. That guy who brought this team down into the dumpster and just really ruined this team in such a way that had us feeling so bad about the Panthers for so long. Dude, I'm so happy you're gone. If I never hear your name again, it'll be too soon. And I hope Nebraska goes on to lose every game for the next 4 years or the next 7 years, however long it takes you to build a program, you dolt.
I didn't hate Nebraska before this moment. Not this moment, but before Matt Rat.
You weren't rooting for them to fail.
I'm not even eating corn anymore, man. What you talking about?
I know. Like, you know what? We're going all diet drinks. No cornstarch syrup, man. Only fake sugar, which I love, by the way. Whatever Splenda is, I love it. I drink Coke Zero all day. Anyway, who's next?
Yeah, well, I'll drop mine real quick. Mine's going to go to, and I just want to say beforehand, I'm a believer that sometimes the only way to settle things is with a good fight and fisticuffs. I believe sometimes that's the way to solve a problem. It's not always, and it shouldn't be the first one, but sometimes it is. But you definitely never try to punch somebody with a helmet on. Like, it's stupid.
Oh, we did not even talk about this today.
We didn't talk about it at all. I figured we would Tuesday. I'm icing up Deontay Foreman and the guy who hit him first. For like, guys, why
should they have been kicked out? Oh god,
yeah, they both should.
Really?
Yeah,
zero tolerance.
for sure.
Yeah, zero tolerance.
Bro, we see way more shit than that on the NFL.
Anytime there's a swing like that, dude. Anytime there's a swing,
you throw a swing, you should be.
I can't remember the last time I can't tell you the last time I saw someone get kicked out of a game.
I think it happened today
when they threw a swing. You know,
I think it happened today on the Cowboys game too.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm icing him up, man. Just know where you're at. You know, this whole game when he's running, every time he gets stopped for a short run, he's like beating himself up, like he's got a goal for the day he's trying to accomplish. And then the first time somebody starts talking trash to you, and granted, the guy hit him first, but why swing back? Like, the guy's wearing a helmet. Like,
he did shove him first. Foreman did some. There must. What I would expect is something happened in the scrum, and Foreman was upset. But Foreman did do this little chest shove, and then what's his name? He was the first round pick for them. Davenport, yeah, slapped him, which he got the foul. If Deontay would have held back, that would have been a personal foul. I still would not have expected them to kick him out. I was surprised by that.
Well, you could actually see with the refs too. The first flag came in when the first.
It was right beside him. The ref was like,
and the second ref didn't throw a flag till he saw Foreman throw a fist or a hand, whatever. And that was when the second flag came in. Yeah, Foreman wouldn't have been penalized at all if he didn't throw that second.
He didn't see. Yeah, the ref didn't see the first little, but he saw this one. I was really surprised they got kicked out of the game. That's it. Towel of shame to Deontay Foreman. CK, what you got?
I'm gonna give a towel of shame to good old Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen came in here. Not only did we screw them by not winning last week, we came in here and beat them this week, which meant it was going to be irrelevant anyway. They had one drive that they were able to score a touchdown, and we somehow still won when we had no offensive weapons scoring a touchdown. Like, it was literally a fumble recovery that was our lone touchdown. Our only other point was because they missed a field goal, which gave us a short field and allowed us to get a field goal within a few minutes of the final buzzer, if you will. So I say ice up to Dennis Allen. He's a first-year head coach. Everybody's talking about Sean Payton going somewhere else. I don't know if he's not ever. He might go back to the Saints at this point. Who knows?
The Seahawks just won.
Did they? Oh, so they're going to this. They going to the playoffs now officially, or?
And it looked like Sean McVay just walked straight to the press box. He looks so. All right, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. But yeah, the Seahawks won. We'll have to wait for Greg to get back for that really to truly tell me if they made it to the playoffs. So those are the towel of shame. Cody, we ready for the dab on them?
I just like doing it, man. Dab on them folks. Dab on them folks. And that dab on them folks. They like seeing it. Tell me what to do. Dab on them folks.
I am going first. I am gonna dab on. Nah. Should I do it? Should I just be the biggest dick to end the podcast?
Do it.
I'm dabbing on Chuba Hubbard for being the most average ass running back that Cody could ever consider dabbing. I'm taking him off the table. There's no way Chuba Hubbard today did enough to get dabbed on twice. So dab on them, Chuba Hubbard, for having your third best game of your career. Dab on him from saving me from having to hear Cody Lashney. Dab on him. I've taken him off the table. He's been dabbed on, Cody. You can't have him.
Dab on
first
him.
time, right?
I feel like this is a win. I felt like I just dabbed on this podcast, bro.
That was definitely a win.
No, that's fine. You need to dab on Chuba because you need to put some respect on that man's name. So good on you, Tony. I applaud you. I am going to dab on Sammy Dimes, baby. And let me tell you why. I know that the game was not great today. But if we were all going to imagine what Sam would do down the stretch for the Carolina Panthers while we were pushing to make the playoffs, we all thought he would crumble as soon as he had the opportunity to do so, and he did not. Not only did he not, but he showed improvement in so many areas that we have been saying he needed to improve upon. Taking care of the football, going through his progressions, and other than today, not throwing in the double coverage. And you know, I kind of blame that on the Michael Jordan PTSD that happened to him in the middle of the game. But anyway, I digress. The reason why I feel like it's important to dab on Sam Darnold is because on just, you know, going forward this year, you know, everybody's going to shit on Sam and tell you what kind of quarterback he isn't and tell you that he's used good and oh, he's this and that. Dude, Sam played way better than we thought that he was going to. This is not an endorsement of him in the future, down the road, whatever. He did a damn good job and kept us in contention when it mattered the most, when Panther fans have not had a meaningful month of December in years. Sam was a big part of that. Got to put some respect on his name. Dab on them, folks.
I'm going to go in kind of the same manner. I'm going to dab on Steve Wilkes for the season that he had this year. I think that whether you believe he should be the coach or not next year, I believe that what he was given and what he did was an amazing thing. I still believe that he did enough to get the job. I don't think that he will, however, but I got to give him credit for taking this team from where they were at to where we ended in the end. We didn't get the final goal of making the playoffs within the NFC South, which we had the possibility for, but he gave it a pretty good fight, and he showed more inspiration in this team than I've seen in years. I was more interested in football after he became the coach than I have been in years, and for him, for that, I thank him, and I dab on him for that. You know, good season, Steve Wilkes, for what you had.
Go, Steve.
I'm
By
going
the way,
to
super fast. Karen Toy, $5.
Nice.
She says, money. Keep pounding. Love you, Karen. Appreciate
We
it.
almost should make CK count for when people do the gifts. When they gift the super fan, like just listen to his voice and just make him count one gift, two. We usually read their names off.
One
right?
gift, two, such and such.
Three gift. Yeah, it's like a kid's book. All right.
So I'm gonna dab on Panthers fans, and I know we're not all on this
good one.
boat, but I'm dabbing on Panthers fans because I think this is the first time that I can remember in a while in a lost season where the majority of people in our chat, on social media that we know, were actually hoping that we win. They were torn. They were obviously looking at the negatives and the positives and all that stuff. But for the most part, I feel like the majority of people were rooting for the Panthers to win today, regardless of what that meant from the draft implications. And I applaud you. If you're one of those fans that was rooting for this team to be a success, to win this game, I applaud you. The difference between 6 and 9, whereas you might feel like it's a big difference, it's not. And so for those who are upset that we won this game, we're still drafting at 9. We're still in a top 10 draft position. And so you can be happy that the Panthers won today. I wish it was more convincing, but you can be happy. And so for those fans that are, and that we're rooting for the Panthers to win this year, that we're rooting the entire year for us to be able to pull something out of our hats, I dab on you guys.
That was the best dab of them all. That was really good. It was really good. Just like this super chat right here.
Dude, from Matt MJ.
I love this one.
With the $10 love bomb. He says, thank you for a great season. While the Panthers need a new coaching staff, the C3 Podcast has a Super Bowl caliber coach in Tony Dunn, OC and Cody Lashney, DC and CK, and special team coach and the Bat Daddy Boy Toy. Hey,
that's a real listener right there. With the Bat Daddy Boy Toy. That's what's up.
That's what's up, man.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I also got
that made me feel good.
Yeah, dude, we also have to dab on these C3 fans, man. We have met and gotten to know so many cool people that I feel like I know I'm going to consider friends for a long time.
Dude, you guys are better friends for me than people have, and I've met you guys. Right, but like I have more friends in this chat room that I care about than people I've physically met.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, C3 Panther Nation, growing exponentially. We love you guys, man. And I think I speak for all of us when, I don't even want to think about Panther football without thinking about the C3 Panthers podcast in conjunction with Panther football, man. The postgame show, the Tuesday show, the Friday free for all. Dude, you guys make it cool. You guys are the reason why we do it, man. So shout out to the C3 Army.
Yeah, it's been incredible. And I know while we feel like there's a conclusion coming at this moment, I don't feel like there's a conclusion because I know we're going to be here on Tuesday. I know we'll be here on Friday. I know that the content is going to be revving up. I'm incredibly excited. The way I've thought about the seasons of the C3 Panthers podcast is the way I mark them is they begin the week after the Super Bowl. Right? It's like, so once we get to the Super Bowl, whatever Tuesday is after the Super Bowl, I mark as the first episode of that year. It's like a new season. So we still have a few more, but we're going to follow the playoffs. We're going to follow the developments of like these coaches coming out. And then we're going to get to the draft and the combine. So the combine, the draft, all of that's part of season. This will be... It's hard to market. I started this in September, October of 2013. Somewhere in like that range. So I feel like I don't know if we have to get to September for it to be our 10th year or we just concluded our 10th year. Either way, I'm ready to walk into this season. New coach, new circumstances, great draft, great opportunity with the same wonderful people beside me as we watch and hang out with this. So my name is Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You can follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Tuesday nights is our flagship where we hit up the latest Panthers news and opinions live 9 p.m. We'll go around the horn. If you have anything you need to say, do your outros, and let's get the heck on out of here. And maybe, are there any more games tonight? Or are they done?
Detroit Green Bay is in about an hour.
Oh,
Nice.
that's
the one that's going to decide if Green Bay's in if they win.
So you guys do your outros and help me out, and let's go.
The final super chat of the Chocolate Espresso says, "Now everyone go watch RRR on
What
Netflix."
the hell is that? I watched the Glass Onion. I loved it. It was fun. It was fun.
What's
Dude,
RRR?
RRR.
I have no idea what it is.
It's a Bollywood movie. Dude,
yeah,
it's a movie from India, and it might be the greatest fucking thing ever made. I
Ooh,
didn't even
why you brought this up? I got one
3.5 hours though. It's like 3.5 hours.
God.
Yeah, it's
has
a
anybody
great
who's
movie.
seen the Kaleidoscope shit?
I haven't watched it yet, no, but I heard good things about it.
I just have one question. I only watched part of one, like the first episode, but it starts out and it says they're trying to make a different user experience for Netflix. So if you watch it and I watch it, what they said is that we might start on different episodes.
Right.
And I'm just
everybody has a
interested to
different,
see is I started out on the green. So I just want to know, and I've only watched
on
one.
Netflix?
Yeah. It's called
a show?
Kaleidoscope. Yeah, and it's got the dude from Breaking Bad, from Better Call Saul, the guy that was the the chicken dude.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you mean.
I just am interested. I was like, did they just say that and everybody starts on green? I want to know. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to watch RR because I love the Glass Onion and I love my son that I don't claim.
Yeah, dude, it's a great movie. But yeah, man. Karen Choi was in here earlier. I think she still is in here. She asked if we're going to be doing this of the year. We don't take no days off, man. We don't get tired. We are year round. We are definitely going to be back. And hey, man, every Friday at 7 p.m. for the Friday Free for All, where you can be a part of the show. It's the show for Panther fans, by Panther fans. Join the show via StreamYard, just like we are now. And yeah, it's a good time. And we'll be getting into the draft content. I know a lot of people have been clamoring for that. I'm going to start looking at prospects, and it ought to be a good time. All
right, who's next?
Oh, and Twitter, find me at Cody Light, and that's it.
Greg looks like he's on the phone, so I'll go ahead and go. So you can find me at CodeDizzleAllen on Twitter, the pretty much everywhere. And I guess just here on Tuesday nights now. Maybe occasionally a Friday free for all. We got to find something else to do these for these weeks in the off season. But we're gonna try to start working out some stuff. There might be some appearances at training camp this off season or something. We'll see. We'll see what we can go on. But yeah, you find me all those places.
John Rule's mad. I called him the chicken dude. Sorry, I cut off guard. Wait a minute. It's like the bad guy of everybody.
Yeah.
The guy that paid Walter White. Walter White's boss. Sorry, my name.
Gus Fring.
Yeah, and someone did call him the chicken dude.
John,
By the way, the guy
John
that
Carlo.
killed his gay boyfriend. Do you remember who started the whole war? That crazy ass Mexican cartel dude did call him the chicken man when they came and brought him all that money the first time they met him. So
Yeah.
I'm on that.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
Greg.
You can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter is my personal handle. Check out my other show. It's Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. We go live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Where we're talking about all the best books and comics and movies and television shows that are out there. So I think actually maybe we're next month in probably February, we're going to try a new thing where I'm going to pick a network and watch whatever it suggests for me to watch.
That's awesome. I like this.
So whatever this network suggests that I watch next, that's what's going to be played.
Give me an example of what the network. You mean like what kind of network?
You go to networks and it's like, well, if you watch this, you might like this, and it tells you something to play next.
Networks or Netflix?
Networks like Netflix.
Different networks, yeah.
Amazon
Netflix,
Prime,
Hulu, yeah.
HBO Max,
Okay, so you count them as networks. You don't mean like A&E or something. Okay, gotcha. Oh, I love this. I'm in. All right, that's the C3 Panthers post game show. Let's get the heck out of here, or I'll keep you up forever. That's what
C3
she
Panther
said.
Nation, for the last time of the 2022 season, you know what we got to say, baby. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.